Each match is played by 2 teams of 11 players. Some are batters, some are bowlers, and there's 1 wicketkeeper. Both teams have a chance to bat and bowl. Look out for the coin toss.
And a very warm, sunny welcome to the Kia Oval, ready for some more T20 Vitality Blast action here in the sunshine. It's a lovely day here. We wish you were here, but it's great that you're joining us on the stream. Now, my name is Ashleigh Wilmot, and I'm going to be with you for the next 3.5 or so hours, and I'm so pleased to have your company. So let's take a look at what it's all about today. We've got Surrey up against Sussex Sharks, set to be an absolute cracker, and we can't wait to bring you all the build-up.
This is Surrey County Cricket Club, born in a tavern in 1845. The symbol of Kennington, we've seen London grow around us. Cricket's original champions, as Charles Alcock brought his vision to life, and we cemented a reputation as a place of firsts. International football, FA Cup finals, international rugby, test matches, as well as where English pride came to die, before a great rivalry was born from its ashes. We share our feathers with royalty and pass on the honour of the brown cap through generations. We've seen England's best spend their careers with us.
Well, that's Jack Hobbs. Head and shoulders, yes, over all other living batsmen.
And the game's best finish under our gasometer. We've won 7 in a row thanks to Surridge, May, Barrington, Locke, Laker and the Bedser twins. In fact, we're well known for our famous siblings. But there's always been one family who stood out. We saw the West Indies grip a nation on our doorstep, and a pioneer set records galore in the women's game. The end of the century brought a fresh take on Ik Dien, as Holyoake and his England teammates transformed us on the pitch. The changing of the oval skyline brought the greatest of finales.
There it is, to regain the ashes.
And an era of final test triumphs.
Alistair Cook has done it. A century in his last. Well played.
On our way to our own red ball century. We're one half of the game's oldest rivalry, and its only London derby. Local players are always the lifeblood of our side. But the world's best are attracted to us too. We've come through tragedies. Now we're home to world champions and cricketers of the year. 175 years have passed. There's much more to come. This is Surrey County Cricket Club, heart of London, pride of the county, the grandest stage in world cricket.
What a beautiful VT. There really is so much history associated with the Kia Oval, and always lovely to hear the dulcet tones of Trevor McDonald as well. So, we've got so much to look forward to. Surrey against Sussex. Now, Surrey are coming off the back of 2 wins on the bounce. They got their T20 campaign underway on Thursday. That was at Lord's against Middlesex, and it was all about the Curran brothers. Then Friday night came around and they beat Kent Spitfires, and it was Sean Abbott everyone was talking about, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. And I mean, they're up against Sussex Sharks. They're coming off the back of 1 loss. That was at home to Somerset. So this is only their 2nd game in the campaign. We cannot wait to bring you all the build-up, including, of course, the coin toss. Claire Thomas is going to be bringing that to us a little later on. We're catching up with some of the players who are going to prove vital in this afternoon's matchup. We're also going to be speaking to our charity partner, Chance to Shine. And I've got you covered, because if you have missed any of the action, then we're going to bring you some highlights too. You lucky things. Now, I mentioned Sean Abbott. It was a fantastic evening for him on Friday, as he equalled Andrew Simon's record century in 34 runs. It was something to behold. 34 balls, sorry. Something to behold. And in case you missed it, we will be bringing that to you a little bit later on. But speaking of him, I caught up with Sean a little earlier on. Sean, congratulations on your player of the match performance on Friday night here at the Kia Oval, matching Andrew Simon's record for the fastest century in this competition. Has it sunk in just what you achieved then?
No, not really. I've had a lot of messages from back home, and yeah, I don't think it will for a little while yet. You know, probably more concentrate on trying to catch up on some sleep, but yeah, special night and one that's going to stay with me for a long time.
I mean, your celebration was amazing. The crowd, you know, you got such a great response. Just what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it before the game in an interview that I'd heard a lot about Friday nights at the Kia Oval this time of the year, and you know, I didn't think that I'd be starring in one with the bat for that amount of time. So, yeah, I mean, the crowd were unbelievable. You know, didn't hear them for most of the time, like trying to, you know, stay focused in the contest and that sort of thing, but yeah, they were very loud, and I could definitely hear them when, you know, when I hit that ball out of the boundary. So, and they were even great. You know, they were unbelievable over there when I was out there fielding too. So, yeah, it was an unbelievable night, and one that I won't forget.
And Andrew, great company there, and one of your heroes. Yeah,
I mean, spoke to him a few times back at home over the years. Yeah, and just someone that I looked up to, the way he played his cricket. So, yeah, to share that with him is sort of surreal, and you know, something that I don't feel like is going to be, you know, true in my eyes, I suppose, for, you know, for a very long time. So, yeah.
Now, what I really loved about Friday night is you were actually all about getting the fans involved, because you did help Dave, one of the members here, walk away with £1,000. Were you impressed by that catch?
Yeah, I only found that out this morning. It's a lot of money to be giving away for a catch. I mean, you know, I don't tend to hit big sixes, so it was nice to help someone out there with a bit of money.
Yeah, he was very happy with that. It's been a great start as well to the championship season. You've played a key role in that, top of the table. How good is it to be back in a Surrey shirt?
Loving it, loving my time here. I've been here, you know, 6 or 7 weeks now. Obviously played a few red ball games, and you know, today's our 3rd match in the Blast, and we're, you know, certainly look to go 3 from 3 to start the season against, you know, a very good outfit in Sussex. So yeah, enjoying every minute of it so far.
Sunday afternoon compared to a Friday night, you know, different day, different atmosphere, but hopefully the same result.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the weather stays good. I mean, I haven't been able to trust the weatherman of late in London, but yeah, it's shaping up for a fantastic afternoon.
Now, with Chris Jordan away on IPL duty, Sam Curran is taking on that role of captain. What kind of captain is he?
He's a lot calmer than I thought he would be, actually. You know, we've been put under some pressure the first 2 games from the opposition batting lineups, and I thought he's handled himself very well. He's obviously a class act when the ball, all the bats in his hand, and I think he's marshalled the troops very well the first 2 games, and no doubt it'll be the same today.
And like you mentioned, big game today against Sussex Sharks. What are you expecting from this encounter?
Yeah, I think it'll be a fiery little encounter there. You know, they're pretty talented, you know, from 1 to 11 with the bat, and they've got a hell of a bowling lineup too. So with plenty of experience there with Tamar Mills. So, yeah, I mean, when we've seen how we've played our first 2 games, we've got a number of things that we would like to improve on from the first 2. So, yeah, I think, you know, it's going to be a great contest, but, you know, we're certainly looking to go 3 from 3.
Is it Surrey's year, Sean?
Yeah, I think it is. There's a lot of classy outfits from what I've seen. So, but I think, you know, we've got a lot of great players, you know, that obviously taken the field so far, and some very hungry players sitting on the sideline at the moment. So, yeah, it takes a squad to win a competition like this, and I think, you know, we've got the squad for it.
We can't wait to watch you in action. Thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thanks, Ta.
Well, it's great to know we've got some hungry players and they are raring to go. So good to catch up with Sean there. He did tweet, actually, I'm not sure it's quite sunk in. Bless him. It was just such a fantastic atmosphere here on Friday night. So huge congratulations to him. Now, in case you've missed it, Surrey Cricket have launched a brand new behind-the-scenes series giving you exclusive access to what happens at a home game here at the Kia Oval. Now, it's called Hits Different, and in case you've missed it, take a look at this.
First season wasn't probably my best season. I didn't bowl that badly. Probably didn't get the chance. A bit of luck every now and again you need, but probably just felt a little bit unsettled moving to a massive county like Surrey compared to Somerset. But yeah, since then it's been good. We obviously won the championship last year, so can't really complain about that. Obviously played for England last year, which was another one of my big steps, big goals. But yeah, it's gone well, and I can't really complain so far. So I had a scan in January, hoping it was just going to be sort of some like joints or stuff, but it turned out to be a stress fracture, which is not the end of the world because it sort of meant I had a decent amount of time before the summer back here starts. So I've not missed a load of cricket, but it's disappointing when you get an injury, but it's just one of those things now. Yeah, so we're on our way from my house to New Malden at LSE, where the second team play their cricket, playing against Sussex today. It's just another game for me to get back into cricket and hopefully be ready for the Blast next week. As a club, we want to win trophies, and the squad that we've got in T20 cricket, we should be there or thereabouts every year. Like you look at some of the players, it's sort of phenomenal the amount of talent that we've got in the squad. We obviously managed to get to the quarterfinals last year, and we didn't quite go over the line against Yorkshire, which was very disappointing at the time. But looking back, not necessarily a bad thing. It probably can make us a bit hungrier this year that we actually want to get to final day and win that trophy. So yeah, it's obviously disappointing losing last year, but yeah, I think the lads are looking forward to sort of correcting that this year and rectifying it.
So we've got a second team game against Sussex today. We played them earlier in the week. We're just sort of gearing up for the start of the T20 Blast next week. We've got some of the big guns back, so Tom Curran, Jamie Overton are back in today. So yeah, good to have them around.
Smile for the camera.
I'd love to be out there, but the reality of the situation is I couldn't lace many of those boys' boots anymore. So for me, the preparation is the key bit, but I certainly live every ball.
What do you think about bouncing the ball over the top of that?
It'd be good if I do it first time.
For me, it's just trying to get back into it and almost feel my way back into the game. It's not a high-pressure situation. It's sort of just trying to learn about yourself and what you need to improve on. I say that's probably the biggest thing in these sort of games.
My first time back on the park today, back with the second team, which will be nice. But yeah, we've got a good squad, a big squad, so everyone just building up to that first T20 game.
From what I've seen, they've got quite a few first-team players playing as well, so should be quite a competitive game and probably be quite a good run out for next week.
We've had a good side for years now, but I guess you could say we've underperformed to a certain extent. You know, you judged on trophies, and that's what the aim will be this year again.
Well, we've had a really good start to the championship, so the whole feeling around the squad's really good. So hopefully we can just carry that into the T20 Blast. It's always exciting this time of year when everyone's back together and playing under lights and stuff. So yeah, everyone's very excited.
Oh, there's the chest. Loris.
Ah! Yeah! There is no outstanding football this year. JT is comfortably the worst. So bad. He's got shins for feet.
Get out of here, mate. No way.
Never his fault, always somebody else's, but very quick to pick up on other people's mistakes. He's one of those guys.
Good luck, Ed. Good luck.
Oh, we won the toss and we'll bowl first. Yeah, we played it the other day and it's quite a small ground. The ball disappeared over the boundary a fair bit, so hopefully capitalise on that, whatever we're chasing.
For these boys, it's moving from a net situation now moving into game time. It's the pace of the game in T20 is such that nothing can replicate it in terms of training. So the only way you can do that is by getting out in the middle. This sort of game time for those boys is going to be vitally important.
Oh, still got it.
Well, first of all, you know, it's competitive games. It's second 11 T20 championship. So one is competitive nature, and also to see how the youngsters are doing and progressing, who's pushing to get into the first team squad. And then we've got 3 or 4 players coming back from injury who, if fit, are likely then to be, if not in the 11, but certainly in a squad of 14 come the first game.
Yeah, I think we did all right. We only had 5 bowlers, so it can get quite tricky at times with just the 5. So I think we stuck at it quite nicely. We kept taking wickets, which is the main thing we're trying to do in T20 cricket. And you see, it's quite a quick scoring ground, so it's yeah, I think we're in a good place.
And there was a bit of a bitter taste left in their mouth, absolutely dominating the group stages last year, being unbeaten for so long. And then unfortunately injuries and call-ups happened. We fell at the quarter-final hurdle, which I know really stung a lot of the guys in there. So there's been a big push here at Surrey that there always is a push to win trophies and be successful. Obviously ticked off the county championship last year, and we're going to look to do the same, is to regain that trophy this season. But the T20 Blast is very much high up on that priority list.
Start the season aiming to win every tournament that you enter. So we haven't actually lifted the cup since 2003, so we want to be doing that sooner rather than later, and why not try and do it in 2023? But other sides will be saying similar, so we've got to concentrate on what we can do. We know that if we play to our full potential, then we'll challenge everyone else.
And I think just in general, the T20 Blast as a package is just quite sensational, and to be at the Oval, full house, music blaring, lights going up, fireworks everywhere. I've certainly been lucky enough to play some international cricket around the world and a bit of franchise stuff, but Oval on a Friday night, not much comes near it.
Yeah, so at the end of the game, we obviously ended up on 171, 6 short of them, so probably in hindsight we would let them get a few too many. We had them 100, I think 111 for 8, something like that, and they managed to get 177, so yeah, probably a few too many, and just one of those things which didn't quite get over the line.
Yeah, felt good, felt really good. You know, this obviously haven't played in a while, so that sort of lack of game, you know, match sort of intensity and awareness. But yeah, look, I've got out of it exactly what I needed to. Got through it injury-free as well, which was the main thing. Go again Monday, and then yeah, all guns ahead for Thursday.
He definitely did step up from the other day, and that's something I asked him more. So good weekend. See you Monday.
So that was Hits Different. It's always good to get some behind the scenes little look at how the team functions, and that was just before the warm-up games, just before we got going this week, just last week. So great to see Winnie make a debut on it as well. That was Jamie Overton's dog. So love a bit of dog content as well. Now, in case you missed it, we were at Lord's on Thursday, where we got the win over Middlesex, and here's some of the highlights.
That's beaten point and flies away to that short side. Oh, only one slip. Drilled wide of mid-on, between mid-on. And Narine just pumps a full toss down the ground. Didn't quite time it. Well, he followed him, but it's smart back. Middlesex will be keen to keep him away from the strike, but at the moment, he is really going some. That's a low full toss that he has drilled to the short side, admittedly, but flat and straight into the crowd. Full and 4. Better length from Cullen.
That will sting as well. He hit that onto his ankle.
Yeah, the last 2 deliveries, I think Cullen has realised after that 4 was drilled down the ground.
Catch it!
And he's picked up a wicket. Beats extra cover. For a moment I thought he was thinking of the short side, and then he decided.
Oh, crashed away. Oh, slammed again to have a go at. Oh, that ball just flashed between the fingers. Dragged down and banged over mid-wicket. That's gone all the way for 6. Not going to get away with that length, the Will Jacks. Oh, that could be a chance. Oh, that's brilliant. That is quite brilliant. Tom Helm with the diving, tumbling catch at long on. And that is to be the end of Will Jacks. He was looking ominous.
Will Jacks hasn't timed. Knows straight away. Helm anticipates, moves low. Takes an outstanding catch. Sends a big shot coming again.
Oh, crunched away. That has been hit very hard indeed.
Anderson again. Carved away and third man is up. Oh, he's got that up and over. Wow, that's gone a long way. I think they're going to check whether that went for 6. That was an extraordinary shot from Tom Curran. Slapped away through extra cover. That is a fabulous shot. Oh, he's hit that as well. That sounded magnificent. 4, 4, 4. And again, and this is going to spin away from the fielder on the fence. And that's gone through again. 5 boundaries in the... Hernandez round the wicket. Curran goes down the ground, stands and admires it. And admire it he might. That's a stunning hit into the pavilion. Goes again. This time a little shorter from Fernandez. Same result. Big 6. Oh, that might go for 6. No, just short. Ooh, got away with that one in terms of a wide, but he's going to pay the penalty and go for 4.
Short ball, that'll be pulled away, timed beautifully. That's 4 and 50 for Sam Curran. Captaining Surrey today and batting beautifully. Hit well. Has it hit well enough? It is. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. Good change of pace, but well played. That was really well played. It deceived him for a fraction of a second, but he just caught up with it and put it away. 50 for Tom Curran. Another full toss, straight up. Can anywhere get there? The bowler says mine, and he takes the catch.
Brilliant catch from Ryan Higgins.
And round the wicket, Higgins. Straight away boundary.
sounded good off the bat. Will it go all the way? You bet it goes all the way. Everyone out leg side, so you'd expect maybe the odd ball down the leg side. Pulled away, man out there should take the catch. Yep, does comfortably. Sam Curran's innings comes to an end. Straight to deep extra. 2 wickets in the over. This is good from Helm. Mid-on, Higgins. Yep, that's 3 wickets in the last over. This is an excellent end for Helm and Middlesex.
Evans again shifts across the stumps, very similar to Will Jack's dismissal. Ryan Higgins down in front of us at the pod and long on.
Doesn't get it through. They don't get to 200. What an over that is from Helm.
Put down, fingertips. Oh, and a run-out chance as well. All action out there at the minute.
Well, it's an amazing bit of cricket all round this. It was almost a brilliant catch at extra cover.
Favours that. Well, that speed can disappear quickly to the boundary in T20 cricket. Whipped away down into... Well, that's moved. That's moved a long, long way back.
Ooh, he had to send somebody else in.
Oh, smashed away up the hill. Long way to go. Well, that is up and over. No one a third man. And that extra pace and bounce has carried it all the way for 6. Oh, that's huge. What a strike from Holden. And giving himself room. Looking at... Gets it this time. Curran tried to repeat the trick. Holden got hold of it. That's a really good over for Middlesex. Brings up the 50. 50-2 from 5.
Reverse. Beautifully done. Skips away for 4. Now up and over extra cover. This is excellent from Milan. Just slightly ahead. Whoa. Go straight to him. Swinging away, short boundary leg side. Short boundary leg side, but he's going to give it all he can. And problems for Narine at the minute. Again, loopy down the ground. Has he got enough of it? Fielder steadies himself. That's a slow one, and it's bowled him round his legs. Got too far across. What a bowling change this has been from Sam Curran.
Now Narine, pavilion end. With this very distinctive act.
Yeah, boy.
Bowled him. Holden trying to sweep. He's played very effectively this evening, but that's one sweep too many. Narine strikes. Middlesex 6 down. Bowled him. It's through him. Just a little quick as Anderson looked to work to the leg side off the back foot, and Middlesex 7 down.
Inexperienced.
Oh, he's bowled him. Yorked him effectively, and what a good time of it Will Jacks is having. He played really well at the top of the order in the...
Lean towards making bad decisions.
Simpson trying to go down the ground, not big enough. The boundary is in quite a distance straight in any case. Does have the power to breach it, but not on this occasion. Should be out. Overton safely taken. Safely taken at long on, and Surrey have comprehensively beaten Middlesex here at Lord's this evening.
Well, what a way for Surrey to get their T20 Vitality Blast season underway with a win at Lord's. Fantastic work from the team there. Now, it was all about the siblings, Tom and Sam Curran. They added 118 in 11 overs, and we're hoping for more of the same this afternoon. Now, I'm very pleased to tell you that we've got the coin toss ready and waiting for you. So let's head down to Claire Thomas.
Well, we're right in the middle of things here. Warm-ups are well underway. Surrey looking to go 3 from 3 and Sussex looking to get a first win of the campaign in the bag. We've got the two captains, Sam Curran with the coin, which he's going to hand over to Owen for proceedings.
Flick it for us.
Right, Owen, in your own time.
Heads.
Heads was the call, and heads it is. And Ravi for Sussex has opted to bowl first. Just talk us through that decision, please.
Well, it looks a really good pitch, and the history shows here that chasing is a good option. And we just fancy a chase today.
And it's been a great season so far for you. How personally are you feeling in your game right now?
Feeling good, but we know with this game, you know, form doesn't exist. You can come into any game and be hero to 0 the next game. So, got to start again and be disciplined.
What a way to sell it for us. Thanks very much. All the best today. Going to have a word with today's hosts. Sam, how does that decision suit you and the team?
I think pretty well. I think I was actually going to bat first, so we've done it really well the last couple of games, and we're going to stick to that formula. But yeah, we know we have to bat and bowl well, so hopefully we can start well.
How supercharged have you all been by what happened here on Friday night?
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. What Sean Abbott did there was something you won't see very often. So the confidence is really good, and we're really looking forward to today's game.
Well, we're very much looking forward to it. Owen said that you were his favourite Curran brother earlier on in our little chat, so no pressure. Have a good one out there.
Cheers, thank you.
Owen, thank you very much. Fantastic coin tossing. I'll let you go back and join your dad. Enjoy your first time at the Oval, and everybody else here at the Oval, enjoy your day too. I reckon it's about 25 minutes till the first bowl. So that's it from us here, right amongst the warm-ups. We'll see you soon.
Great stuff, Claire. Good to get the confirmation of the coin toss there. Sussex winning the toss and opting to bowl. Now, whilst that was all going on, I have been joined by Acting Chief Executive Vanessa Green from our charity partner for today's game, Chance to Shine. Great to have you with me. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having us here today.
No problem. It's a little bit breezy up here, isn't it? But great for you.
It is breezy, yes. Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the work that Chance to Shine do.
So Chance to Shine are a national children's charity. We work all over England and Wales. Our mission is very much to give all children the opportunity to play, learn and develop through cricket. It really is all about what cricket can do for children. We care deeply about the impact we can have. Every year about 500,000 children take part across the country, which is huge, but for us it really is about that impact. And we have a really big focus in the Surrey area, where every single year about 20,000 children will take part in schools and our community street projects across the county area.
Wow, lovely stuff, and it's great to have you with us today on the ground as well. What are you up to?
So today is all about raising awareness for Chance to Shine and what we do. We're very much here to fundraise. We are a charity. We have to ask for people for support, and we're here very much to showcase the talent of some of our young street participants. So we have young people here from our Wandsworth and our Lambeth street projects. Our Wandsworth young people actually won our national finals last year, so they're here to celebrate their win. It's a very special evening for them today, and just to get involved and to be part of the Oval.
And the sun is shining. I mean, you guys do some fantastic work. How can the people watching get involved and find out a little bit more about what you do?
So if you'd like to find out more about what we do today, you can either come to our website, which is chancetoshine.org. If you're in the grounds today and you'd like to come up and chat to us, we're all around, we're all wearing our Chance to Shine jerseys. But if you'd very much like to donate and be part of it, you can text the word chance to the number 70904 or come to our website and have a look at how you can donate there. We really need your help. There's so much more we can do. We love this game. We love what it can do for children, and we'd love for you to be involved.
Just repeat that number one more time.
Yes, so it's if you text the word chance to 70904.
Well, it's great to have you here with us. All the best with it all. And thank you so much for your time, Vanessa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's hear a little bit more about the charity now.
This is Sean to Shine Cricket Project, and we have children from the age of 6 to 18, and they come here every Saturday and practice and train with us.
Every Saturday we get about 140 kids. Croydon is such a diverse borough, and our coaches speak about 5-6 languages.
It provides children a great opportunity to come in, learn new skills. Many children who wouldn't have played cricket otherwise have taken up this sport as their main sport.
I feel like I have a future in cricket. I want to play more cricket going forward in the future, and I want to become like an England professional player.
In 2021, we were asked to take a group of children to Arundel Castle, Arundel Cricket Club.
Yeah, when me and my son went to Arundel, he had an opportunity to play at the cricket ground, which was phenomenal. Coaches there were amazing with the kids as well.
When we first arrived, they were all standing uncomfortably in the room, and within a day, they were all gelling, they were all finding new friendships.
I think the coaches here are amazing, especially Coach Assad. Their teaching is amazing, they're nurturing, and they're giving kids opportunities to learn.
At the start, I didn't know a single person, and then it's just been absolutely amazing, and I get to get new friends.
I basically never have confidence, but when it comes to cricket, I'm okay.
Before I used to come here, I was kind of shy and I didn't really talk a lot, but now I'm kind of more confident.
I think the work they do here is touching on vital. They are inclusive in the way they allow them to learn by doing, and they are inclusive in the way they encourage them and the way they build their confidence and their energy for it, and it's brilliant. It's fantastic.
It's been amazing. Assad is absolutely fantastic. I mean, all the coaches that come along do an amazing job. Their enthusiasm is really engaging.
Years ago, when we started playing cricket in this area, we didn't have any facilities, we did not have any ground or hall available to us.
If this project at Chanshan didn't come in, they wouldn't have any, I'll be realistic, they wouldn't have much.
But it gives me pleasure when I see children enjoying themselves and learning new skills here. It fills my heart with pleasure, and I'll continue to do that.
Sometimes I don't want to leave.
Well, there we are. Make sure to text and help Chance to Shine. It's fantastic to have them on board as our charity partner for today's fixture, and great to catch up with Vanessa as well. They really do fantastic work, and 1 in 5 get enough physical activity. They've coached over 6 million children. It's all about trying to get more children invested in the sport that we all love, getting them active, all those lovely skills of teamwork, resilience, everything. It's so good. So find out more on their website. But like I say, it was really great to catch up with Vanessa. Now, I want to tell you about the Kia Catch. Now, if you've been to the Kia Oval, then you might already know a thing or two about it. But don't worry, if you haven't, then you can find out more with myself and Claire Thomas.
Cricket at the Kia Oval always hits different, but just in case the action over there weren't enough to grab your undivided attention, there's an extra twist, an extra tradition that we like to do here. If you catch any 6 up in the stands cleanly, our friends at Kia will give you £1,000. Yeah, you heard me right, £1,000. Now, Ashleigh Wilmot is a safe pair of hands in the studio, we know that for sure, but is she any good at catching a tennis ball? We've brought her up to the JM Fin stand to see just how good she is at her very own special edition of the Kia High Catch. Ashleigh Wilmot, are you ready? Well, glorious conditions here at the Kia Oval. Wilmot has managed to put on cricket whites on top, but decidedly off colour down below. And off colour, that catch too. That one sails into the stands. She's lining up for a second attempt, eager to prove that she would be able to win £1,000 if push came to shove. But so far, it's absolutely nothing going her way. Here comes the third ball, and it's cleanly taken. Wilmot has got what it takes. She can wander down and collect her prize. She can't really. She's part of our broadcast team. She is ineligible. But she goes for a second. 2 on the spin, and the dance moves to match. She's absolutely loving it in the Vauxhall sunshine. There we go. 3 out of a possible 5. What, me?
I think it's your turn. I just showed you how it was done, OK? She's not warmed up. I wasn't warmed up. Can Claire Thomas catch as well as me? Well, I don't think so, but I'm rooting for you, Claire. You've got 3 to beat. You ready? First ball, let's go. Oh, a little bit short. Second ball. Lovely, lovely catch. 50% success rate so far. OK, this is not looking good for me. Right, the last ball, here we go. Come on, Claire, lovely stuff. It's a draw, just what we wanted to see. Claire, great job. A draw for both of us, but unfortunately, no money.
I know, seems a bit unfair that, but I'll tell you what, when you guys come along to the Kia Oval, there are £1,000 to be won. It's harder than it looks.
It really is, but, you know, give it your best shot, always be ready, because you never know when a 6 is going to come your way. Well, in the meantime, Reece Topley has joined me in the studio. Great to have you here with us today. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Obviously not perfect because I'm not out there playing, but yeah, slowly rehab's getting better. Shoulders in a good place, and hopefully it's not too long now before I can contribute in some form.
I mean, it must be, as much as you love cricket, you want to be out there. It must be quite tough to watch along from the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, initially it's nice to be back in the Oval, but then, you know, you get this feeling of sort of jealousy that everyone else is playing. So, but it's obviously good viewing, watching everyone do so well, and you know, both competitions a near perfect start. So I suppose it's good viewing, and no, I enjoy all the success that everyone's having on the pitch.
Near perfect. I mean, you can't get much better than that. You 2 wins on the bounce. What are you hoping to see from them today?
Obviously, I think they're a bit weaker with their overseas players not available today, so it's more a case of more of the same, being quite clinical, and you know, it's a potential banana skin, but I think if we execute our roles, we'll be in a good place.
Now, I know you're going to be joining the commentary team very shortly, but do you know any timescales when we can see you back in action?
I think most likely it'll probably be sometime in July. That's when I think it's comfortable to say that, because I'm slightly ahead of the curve. But obviously, I don't know what cricket there is to come in July. Hopefully, could be some finals in the Blast, but I suppose it's just taking each week as it comes at the moment.
Oh, well, that's great. That's lovely stuff. So we'll keep our fingers crossed as well. Thank you so much for your time, Reece. Now, let's just remind ourselves of how things planned out on a Friday night here at the Kia Oval.
So our Friday night Vitality Blast offering is Surrey versus Kent. 2 really good sides with superstar players, and both confident after an early win in the tournament.
Pretty big win to kick off the season, especially being a London derby at Lord's, so couldn't have asked for much better than that, but certainly a few things here and there to improve on and taking it tonight, so definitely hope that party atmosphere that I've heard so much about is lively tonight. I can't wait to get out there in the Surrey colours.
Obviously first game back at our home, so let's enjoy it and put up a performance for a bigger crowd than Lord's last night, so let's have a look at it.
I'm here actually with Kia. We've got the best seats in the house, like right next to the game, and when the sun's shining, like a great crowd, there's nowhere better to be.
Friday nights at the Oval have become the stuff of legend in the Vitality Blast, and encounters against Kent tend to be relatively spicy ones.
What an amazing shot from Will Jacks. A little bit of movement. Wow. Tries again and dismissed. Length a little different, and the dangerous Will Jacks comes and goes for 17.
Well, direct hit, it's always going to be close.
Electric from Jordan Cox.
The wicket's continuing to tumble now.
That's the end of Curran.
Sean Abbott, I would have been expecting to come in at this stage of the game. Wow, that sounded very good off the bat by Sean Abbott. Whoever's caught it has won £1,000. Not a bad evening out.
And that has been slogged for another 6 to Abbott. Oh boy, here he goes again. It's a drop kick this time. Well, that one's out of here as well. It's gone. All the way, 30 from the over. This is some striking from the big Australian. Oh, it's down the ground. Has it got the legs? It has. He's done it. Oh, wow, that's absolutely awesome. Sean Abbott. Oh, yes. That was pure box office.
What a moment for Sean Abbott. What an innings.
34 ball 100. previous best, 41.
So that was just a snippet of the second episode of our exclusive behind-the-scenes series, Hits Different. You can catch the full thing on Surrey Cricket's social channels, and make sure you do. Now, time to head to commentary. Hello to Phil Walker and Daniel Norcross.
Is he ready?
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our live coverage from the Kia Oval. It is an absolutely beautiful afternoon out here. There's a nice kind of burble and hum around the ground, people still flooding in. It's set fair for the day, and we have an intriguing cricket match upon us. Sussex are the visitors, somewhat depleted after their two overseas players collided on Friday evening, but nonetheless they have class from top to bottom, and they are trying to break the stranglehold of a Surrey side that is in the form of its life, unbeaten across all formats, of course, so far this season. Quick run through of the teams as the batters come to the middle. Surrey first, who will bat first after Ravi Bopara, the Sussex captain, won the toss and chose to field first. Surrey side, Will Jackson, Laurie Evans will be opening up. We have down Sam Curran, skippering, of course, in place of Chris Jordan at 3. Tom Curran, his brother, at 4. Jamie Smith, the brilliant keeper bat, at 5. Cameron Steele comes in for his first game of the T20 Blast at 6. Jamie Overton, who is hitting, I can tell you folks, a big ball as it stands, at 7. Jordan Clark, 8. Sunil Narine, the overseas, at 9. Tom Laws at 10. And Dan Worrell, the other overseas, at 11. We'll come to the Sussex side in a moment, because I've just been joined by Mr. Reece Topley. Hi. Good afternoon, Scott. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, set for a terrific afternoon of cricket.
That we are. So it will be Will Jacks to face first. And it's going to be the left arm spin early on. It's a big call, first up by Ravi Bopara. Firstly, to insert this juggernaut of a batting lineup, and secondly, to start with left arm spin. Sussex will be desperate to try and contain Surrey's top order, but of course they bat all the way down, as Daniel Norcross, who will be joining us later on in the commentary box, remarked before we came on air. They are playing total cricket here at the moment. So it's going to be James Coles, the left arm spinner, to get us underway. Straight away, that's just... It was a full toss, it was there to hit, but a man out of deep square just keeps it down to 1, so of course just 2 men out. You have a man at long on, a man at deep square, and then a pretty tight ring on the offside. A man at 45, Tamal Mills on the leg side. We'll be seeing plenty of him later on. One of the quickest around, of course.
Interesting decision from Sussex to win the toss and chase on the used wicket.
Yeah, indeed. Would you have been tempted to go the other way? Or what do you think?
Well, it's interesting because a used wicket, you'd normally want to get the batting out of the way first with the wicket deteriorating, and obviously opening with the spinner obviously suggests that it might turn.
Coles again, nicely flighted and respectfully played back down the track by Laurie Evans. Yeah, Ravi Bopara said beforehand it's a good-looking track. He's off the mark. The easy single. Yeah, Ravi said at the toss that it's we know that it's such a good track here at the Oval that even though it is a worn wicket, nonetheless it will be pretty true and probably stay relatively solid throughout the course of the afternoon.
Also, the ploy to open with the spinners probably because Jacksy's so prolific against pace on the ball.
Single up to long on. Can he get out of this over now, James Coles? It's been a tidy start with that first hit me ball initially. was only hit out to the onside for a single. Oh, and he's dropped. It was there to take a backward square. He'll be kicking himself. That was there to be snaffled. It was hit hard, but it was straight down the throat of deep square. That's Henry Crocombe there, just behind square. And it's just blown through the fingers. Reece, should have been taken.
Absolutely. A bit of luck there for Laurie. He has had a slow start to the tournament. Maybe that's something that could just ignite his form for this year's Blast, hopefully. Yeah, it's going to be a good challenge against George Garton now. It's good with the new ball. We'll shape it. But again, pace on the ball, these two enjoy.
Garton has plenty of it. In he comes. And that's 4 straight away, and already it's going to start to sting. You can't give players of this kind of calibre chances. Laurie Evans has climbed into that long hop for his first boundary.
Absolutely. Always happens normally. You give someone a chance and they capitalise straight away, using their lives.
He's there to hit, but of course we have a cover out on the boundary on the offside, so just the single. Evans moves on to 7. Jacks, who is the man of the moment, really, Reece. Coming back onto strike.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable in the last 2 years, probably. You know, he was always a very good T20 player, but he's almost gone above that to an exceptional T20 player. Obviously, first and foremost, he's a batter, but also his bowling's been amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised on this pitch to see him feature heavily today.
Garton in, showing pace already. Of course, Sussex have a preponderance of pace with both these left armers, Garton and Tamal Mills, in the ranks. What makes him so good, Will Jacks? You'd have bowled him in the nets, yeah, probably competitively as well. What makes him so good?
Yeah, I've bowled him in the nets a lot, bowled him in games as well for various teams. I think he enjoys pace. I've seen him take down some very fast bowlers, so it's almost the faster it comes onto the bat for him, the more he enjoys it. And that's, I think, a sign of a good player, that he doesn't look rushed. He plays proper cricket shots, even though it is, you know, up around the 90-mile-an-hour mark, where some batsmen, you know, can be found out. And also, I think the matter of how he's got the runs in Pakistan, Bangladesh, all different types of environments, he's worked out a way to be very successful.
It's a mark of Surrey's strength and depth that we've not really seen him with the ball too much so far this year in red ball cricket. Of course, he'll come more into play latter part of the season with the ball. In the meantime, he's with the bat, still waiting to get going on at the non-striker's end. Laurie Evans playing that quietly into the offside. Just a relatively circumspect start so far by Surrey, just sizing up the pace of the pitch. As Reece said, it's a used pitch, used on Friday night. And we saw some history here Friday night. Were you here?
I was actually doing something for the ECB.
Right.
Obviously, being injured, I'm getting roped in to do all kinds of different stuff here, there and everywhere.
He's going to run away for 4. Laurie Evans into double figures. That was there to hit. Garton will be ticking because he got through most of that over, just had to get out the other side of it, but he's really asked for trouble there. It's a shortish boundary down to the Bedford stand, and Surrey move on to 14 for no loss after a couple. Yeah, I was here Friday night, and I wasn't working, so I was watching it up there with a glass of something in my hand, and it was one of those moments in T20 cricket where it creeps up on you, and you suddenly, before you've even noticed, history's upon you.
Yeah,
34 balls. 34 balls.
I remember when he came in, I think it was 60 for 4, and like I said, I was doing some work for the ECB. And we switched off that game and went to another game, and by the time we'd switched back, you know, the score was nearly 200, and I couldn't believe what I'd missed, to be honest, in such a short space of time.
That will run away for 4. No one back at long off. That was there to hit, and it's chipped nicely, deliberately over the flailing fingers of the left arm spinner James Coles. Will Jacks brings up his first boundary. He is away.
Always a gamble when you have to bowl 2 in a row in a power play. The captain probably thought that he might be getting something from the surface, but equally the batsmen have both had a look at him now.
Nicely bowled there into the pitch, driving it. And that's the way to go if you're left arm spin, especially at the Oval. The days of tossing it up, tough as style, and waiting for a mistake, they seem to be long gone now. James Coles is going okay so far. Doesn't beat the man behind square, so another dot ball. Yeah, will they rue that missed chance though in the first over? Laurie Evans is not a man to put down. That's huge. That is majestic. Gives himself a little bit of room, and that is a big, big hit. Gorgeous hand through the ball, and that's gone, what, 20, 30 yards back? Not too far from the players' dressing rooms.
Absolutely terrific shot. Like we just said, he's had a look at him now. He knows what line, especially with the field, you know what line he's going to bowl, and Laurie used his feet to create the room, take him over the offside beautifully.
He's a very stylish looking player, isn't he, Laurie Evans? Very easy on the eye.
Yeah, I mean, we always tell him that he's got that swag about him. Chest is out.
Tries to go again, but cloths it this time nonetheless. We'll get a single. They'll settle for one, in fact. Yeah, even with the misfield, just settles for the single. But you feel like they are off and running now, these two. Quite similar in style, perhaps Evans slightly more rhythmical. Will Jacks pure power. But it's a seriously destructive opening pair. And then you think of the players who are still on the bench as it stands. Tot it up, 4 more. Will Jacks is ticking now into double figures. Beautifully played behind square on the offside. It wasn't that short. They are now both into their rhythm.
One of Jackson's strengths, square of the wicket. He likes to shuffle one way or the other to bring the leg side or the offside into the equation. Yeah, with the offside up, he was always going to shift away and you look to hit the ball square on the offside with the spin as well. Obviously, the captain's come to rue the choice of giving him a second over, unfortunately.
That's always the danger, isn't it? When you open up with that spinner first over, do you dare go for a second? As you say, once you have time to size him up.
It's a good start from Laurie, considering that he's almost filling in as an opening bat.
Hudson Prentice into the attack for the 4th over. He took a bit of tap on Friday night in Sussex's defeat, but they're backing their man, understandably so. He's a fine cricketer. And they're just trying to just break things up a little bit here. Too much predictability in T20 cricket, of course, is really asking for trouble. So they're just trying to keep things fresh, holding Tamal Mills back as well, I would imagine, for the death. But already Surrey are away. 31 for Zip.
You'd imagine Tamal will probably get one in the opening power play. It's well bowled, nice and straight. They're going to try and have the offside up and not allow anyone to free their arms, get the ball through the offside. Probably see Laurie and Will try and create something by shuffling to the leg side to open up the offside, whether that's using the pace through third man or crunching it through the covers.
It's a tough gig being a seamer, isn't it? It's nicely bowled. Slower ball, split-fingered slower ball by Hudson Prentice, but played tidily enough into the offside for a single.
It's unfortunate in T20 that you can bowl a good ball and you feel like you deserve a dot ball. And unfortunately they managed to scurry through for a single. It shows the intent of these two, that they're really positive. Even when the bowler bowls well, you're going to block it and try and hurry through for a single.
He's in again, he's followed him. It's well bowled there by Hudson Prentice. Perhaps saw out the corner of his eye that Jacks was, just as Reece Topley predicted, looking to make a bit of room, so he's just followed him. I've always wondered this with the quicks. Do you see, or do you anticipate when a batsman's moving? Do you genuinely have that ability as a seamer to change it in the very last split second and follow the bat?
100%.
Right.
More so...
Can't beat the offside?
More so with Jackson and the field, you know that he which way he's going to go, so you can it's very rare that he's going to step to the offside here, just because everyone's up on the offside, so the men out are on the leg sides. There's almost nothing to gain from him shuffling to the offside. So he's either going to stay still and probably take on straight, or shuffle that to the leg side to open up on the offside.
Well bowled, beautifully bowled, hitting that length, bit of carry as well, hitting the keeper's gloves pretty hard. Michael Burgess on loan from Warwickshire. Decent first over that by Finn Hudson-Prentice, pulling it back a little bit for Sussex in the power play. Surrey 33 for no loss after 4. Yeah, how late in the day can you leave it before adjusting your line, your length, depending on what the batsman's doing? Are we talking even in the delivery stride?
Literally, as you release it, you can have that much of a control, and it's only a small change from the bowler's end, and we're talking holding on to the ball milliseconds,
right?
That has such a huge change at the batsman's end. You know, a millisecond here, holding on to it a bit longer, and you just drag it straight. But obviously, it's a very tough job to do.
Here's Mills, inimitable, of course. The hop, the skip, and the jump, and into that fabulous action of his. He's a serious, natural fast bowler. And a fresh air shot straight away by Laurie Evans. As soon as Tamal Mills comes into the fray, and you'd have played with him, of course, in the past, there's a little buzz around, you know, because he might not have the absolute express pace of previous years, but he's still a serious proposition.
Yeah, he can absolutely get it through. And, I mean, it's difficult now because he's got third man up into the circle. With his pace, the ball is likely to go down there off the edge.
It's well bowled, nicely played, but straight to the man at mid-on, so no run.
They'll probably be looking to use the pace here. Obviously, Tamal's got good slower balls, but with only 2 men out and the nature of them being either side of the wicket, it's going to be hard to control it. So he's probably going to look to bowl top of the stumps, and those men either side are for Laurie if he tries to manufacture anything by shifting either side or using his feet.
So little margin for error. And he's played that superbly. He's got onto that. Wasn't that short again? Laurie Evans is enjoying himself out there. That's a deliberate shot as well. Deliberately gone straight on the angle of the delivery. Opened up those shoulders. There's such a natural flourish and finish to the shot with Laurie Evans.
Absolutely. How straight that went. Almost, you get an aura of, you know, he had an idea of what the ball was going to be because he was so quickly on it. It's interesting to see what Laurie thinks Tamal will go to after getting hit for a boundary.
Bowled in! There's your answer. Off-stump cartwheeling. That had plenty of gas behind it. Tamal Mills is fired up. And Surrey lose their first. Laurie Evans giving himself just that little bit too much room. And Tamal Mills has blown through to take the first wicket out there. And so that drop catch in the first over has not been too costly after all. Laurie Evans goes for a breezy and very, very easy on the I-23. But I tell you, Sussex needed that, Reece Topley.
Absolutely. Gone are the days of a batsman hitting a boundary and then looking for a single. He's gone for a big shot through the offside straight away. Obviously felt that he was gettable on this pitch, and credit to Tamal, he stuck to his guns and stuck with a heavy length. That was top of off. It's where every bowler likes to operate. Obviously the fact that Laurie tried to manufacture something there and it was on the stumps, this paid dividends for Tamal.
Yeah, it's good for the game as well. You feel like Sussex need to keep in this one as long as they possibly can. Surrey's batting lineup is terrifyingly long for the neutral, and must be very intimidating for teams who turn up in South London and look down that 11. And not so much even the players on the pitch, but the players who aren't even playing. I mean, Jason Roy, of course, is on the bench, and Sean Abbott, aforementioned, rested today for his 34 balls. It's a tough gig.
Yeah, it's a tough school at Surrey. You know, you break a record for the fastest 100 and you're not in the 11 next game. But it's a long season, and I think that everyone's aware of that, and everyone will get their chance for sure.
Sam Curran, new man. Beautifully played, but no run, good fielding, good cricket all round.
Sam enjoys pace on the ball. A lot of teams in the past have always given him a short ball early. They've got the field set for a man at deep backward square. Hopefully to create a chance there. However, wind is blowing quite strongly to Sam's leg side, so he'll back himself to probably swing at it and get enough on it to clear the rope for sure.
Doesn't matter who's bowling to Sam Curran, he backs himself against the best in the world. He's having the time of his life. Nicely played off the mark. Yeah, just from Sussex's point of view, they're quite a young side, of course, with the exception of the great Ravi, of course, seeing them, like overseeing them from that middle order, but losing the two overseas in the previous game to what sounded like a rather unfortunate collision. Shadab Khan and McAndrew as well ran into one another, and neither of them are now available due to the concussion protocols. I did actually see Shadab Khan around the pavilion earlier this afternoon. It's okay, but of course we have to be cautious. Quite right too, but nonetheless it's a very young side. There's a lot of talent in it. Ali Orr in particular, will be looking forward to seeing him later on. He'll be opening the batting. But you feel like with a raw young side you need to hang in there as long as you possibly can against a phenomenon really that is this current Surrey setup.
Absolutely, there's going to be moments, and it's normally those big moments that experienced players can sense and then hopefully take advantage of. So there's going to be times where there's going to be big moments in this game where hopefully the young players will, you know, try and take advantage of those, and Surrey with the experience might just you know, get on the better side of those moments.
Here is another young, very talented cricketer, Henry Crocombe, into the attack for the first time today. He's a fine young bowler. I was watching him in the nets earlier as well. He's got good action. Gets it down there at a fair lick as well.
Yeah, again, they're persisting with the split field here, so it's hard to get an idea of what line they're going to bowl. He's probably going to try and operate around middle and off at the top of the stumps. Jaxie will probably be preempting that a bit.
It's up there and he's easy as you like, taken at mid-wicket. This is a good start by Sussex. Will Jacks goes. It was there to hit, but he maybe got slightly cramped. Crocombe honoured him maybe slightly quicker than he was anticipating, and it was an easy catch at mid-wicket. And Sussex, almost out of nowhere, have removed the two dangerous openers now. And it's been quietly quite a good opening six for Sussex. They've just got another 4 deliveries to try and get out of it. Surrey suddenly 39 for 2. The Curran brothers will be picking up where these two openers have left off. But Sussex will be pretty pleased with it so far.
Absolutely. They'll probably be kicking themselves that they went with the second over of Coles. However, they seem to have clawed it back quite well, removing both openers. Crocombe just operated in the perfect area really for what the field suggested and what the wicket's sort of dictating to bowl. Top of the stumps, didn't give Jaxie a chance to free his arms, got quite high on the bat and created an opportunity. It's going to be interesting now. Power play almost over. It'll be interesting to see if Tom, new to the crease, tries to take advantage of the balls that remain, or might just get through the power play and then look to capitalise once the field's spread.
It was really nicely bowled, that. As you were saying earlier, you get that sense, especially with Jackson, he's always looking to free up that offside. He's so vicious through the offside. But Crocombe clearly sensed that, followed him, cramped him for space, cramped him for room, and induced the false shot.
Yeah, Jaxie certainly tries to capitalise on the bowlers, and he's always positive, whether it's with his footwork or how he lines up to the bowlers. He's always got the positive approach to try and get as many runs as he can, really.
Curran off the mark straight away, and he's coming back for 2. Canny running. I think he caught the fielder slightly unawares. It looked like a straightforward single. He's already pushing the envelope here, Tom Curran. Off the mark with a couple.
It's an interesting field to have backward point on the boundary. It's going to create the chance to drop and run, just like Tom did. It's a relatively low-risk shot to get 2 runs for. It'll be interesting to see what he's going to go with. Probably hope to bowl a little bit straighter.
It's been interesting to see how Tom Curran has if you like, reframed his identity in one-day cricket. Obviously, he's a top class seamer when fit, but he's hinted at quality with the bat and now been given this go at number 4. Another easy signal into the offside.
Yeah, it's good to see Tom at the top of the order. He's a good player. He's probably in a bit earlier than he'd have liked. 2 down in the power play. However, he's got off the mark there easily. 2 low-risk shots. He's not wasting any balls, which is good. Sam on strike now. Probably look to be a bit more expansive.
Well bowled, good pace and good direction as well. Nothing wrong with that at all. This has been an excellent opening over.
There's that short ball that a lot of teams often go to Sam early with. And it's quite brave because the field didn't dictate that it was going to be a short ball, so it adds to the the unexpected nature of it, with third man and fine leg both up in the circle.
Where does he go this time round? Slower ball this time. Excellent stuff. That completes the power play. First 6 gone, and Sussex have shaded it, I would say. Surrey are 42 for 2. Loss of both of their openers. The Curran brothers are now just settling in. Mini rebuilding job. But when you have players of the calibre to come all the way down the pipe, it's only just beginning this innings. Reece Topley, thanks ever so much. He vacates for a while. And look who it is, Daniel Norcross. Well, apparently they can't, Daniel. There's no cameras in this room, which is a shame because we're colour coordinated. Yeah, okay.
What's an interesting start it's been. 30 off 3, it's 12 off the last 3. And usually the second half of the power play, that size tend to explode. As umpire there signals. It's one of the more absurd things in T20 is umpires to signal that the power play is over. What's
just for
happened?
the avoidance of doubt.
Yeah. Okay. First. Oh, well, that's been bludgeoned and just over a diving long off. Wow, that's a terrific effort. Out on the deep, long off boundary there, just in front of the pavilion. Full toss from Archie Lennon to start up. Tom Curran laid into it. Look at this effort here. Got a hand to it. It's not a drop, he's got his hand to it after he was beyond the boundary.
Yeah, it's Ali Orr up there at long off. Valiant effort. Not how you want to start if you're a leggy.
No, but it can happen, can't it? I mean, that's the awful thing about being a leggy. It is just very, very difficult. Now, Orr's having to limp off here. Yeah, we can see Ali Orr is limping off there. There's been a few people in the wars for Sussex, of course. They lost their 2 overseas to a collision. Surrey had that themselves when Moses Enriques and Rory Burns collided at Arundel a few years back. But to lose both overseas is really unlucky, isn't it? So Lennon finds his length at last.
He's looking in a bit of discomfort, is Ali Orr, which is a concern because he is their gun player, really. In the absence of those overseas, as you say, Shadab Khan is a big miss, in particular in the middle order. But Ali Orr is a brilliant young player. He made a good few as well on Friday night. He looked like their form player. And if they do lose him, or if he's
just being examined there.
Yeah.
Is it a knee as he came clattering down? It's a valiant effort. He looks in some discomfort there. He's had a funny old season, more of which in a moment. As he's been out 3 times, run out at the non-strikers end. Not in the controversial, shall we call it the man-can way. More, ball smashed back down the ground by Haynes, his supposed partner, and carried onto the stumps. Oh, what a catch! What a catch! That is a staggering catch at backward point. Curran really got hold of it. He laced it and it went low to the right of point, who has taken an absolute blinder.
Well, Archie Lennon is absolutely ticking now. First ball 6, and he's come back induced the false-ish shot. I mean, it would have run away for 4. There's not too much wrong with Sam Curran's attempt. But James Coles has picked an absolute blinder out of the air there to his weaker hand as well. Left-hander, of course, James Coles. That is one hell of a grab.
Well, that is staggering. So, you know, that ball was fading away from him even further and further as he put in the dive. He's really pretty much taken that in kind of thumb and forefinger at full stretch, about an inch off the ground. Sam Curran can consider himself pretty unlucky to go in that way, but what a fantastic catch that was. It brings to wicket Sunil Narine, who's up and down this order. Carding sometimes at 9. He's opened already this season. Now he's in at 5. This is what Surrey play, Phil. They play total cricket. Johan Cruyff would be very, very impressed with the way Surrey go about their cricket.
Yeah, I still can't quite get over Sean Abbott being rested after 34 balls of record-breaking brilliance on Friday night.
Well, I'll tell you what, another reason why I'm mystified isn't the right word, but I think I'm actually quite proud of Surrey for doing this, because he might well end up playing for Australia this summer. So Surrey could well lose his services before long anyway. And a more ruthless county might have said, well, he's ours, we're going to get every single last drop out of him. Now, Narine is going to play one way, and that is the way he's going to play. He's going to smash this into deep mid-wicket, but a successful over from Lennon. It started with a 6. But he's really dragged that back, not just the wicket, but actually just really nailing his lengths towards the back end of that over. And Surrey are in more than a spot of bother here at 49 for 3.
They are, and one gets lulled into a sense of dominance whenever you walk through the gates here at the Oval, such as Surrey's brilliance in all formats, unbeaten, of course, this year. And so when it does turn against them somewhat, albeit this is very early days, there's an extra anticipation for what's to come, because there is that fear that teams tend to get steamrolled when they come here. And when you saw the team sheet for Sussex as well, you did fear for them somewhat, being depleted, but this has been an excellent start.
Procom continues. That thick edge will just bring a single. Now, last year, of course, Surrey lost quite a lot of their main lineup, their T20 lineup, after they'd begun the league season so well. I mean, you looked at their side, and it was a side that would not been out of place in the IPL. It was an extraordinary team. I'm not saying that this 11 isn't, but towards the back end of that league campaign, they started to lose players, both the Caribbean Premier League and to Test cricket and whatnot. Well, that shouldn't be an issue for this group throughout the T20 blast. Ryan, what kind of a shot is that? That is what Ian O'Brien, the New Zealand fast bowler, once done to the strapple, the straight pull. And it's not an easy shot to play. Actually, it was a ball of a similar length to the one that got Will Jacks out. It wasn't that short, but he's given himself some room, and when you're making a kind of forehand topspin pass motion to me, Phil.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary shot, but then it's now quite a commonplace shot. You see it a lot. Harry Brook almost patented it this winter.
I like this move from Surrey, though. 3 wickets down, they might have thought about, well, consolidation, but you look down that line, I don't know who would do the consolidation job. Jamie Smith, perhaps? They've decided against that. They're just going to keep on going gangbusters here.
Yeah, and like all good T20 sides as well, they have any number of players padded up, and they make their decision based from over to over. They wouldn't have known necessarily, I wouldn't have thought that Narine was going to bat 5 in this game, but they feel that this is the right time to get him into the fray.
Left-hander for left-hander as well. Oh, that's been sweetly struck. Won't bring the boundary. But yes, with Sam Curran's departure, perhaps that was the thinking. Might have had, I don't know, maybe Jamie Overton padded up as well. So whichever of the Currans was out.
Very, very possibly Cameron Steele as well, as a very fine player in the middle order. Jamie Overton, obviously, as you know, I work here, very fortunate to do so, and I've been watching the range hitting, and you see some obscene things on a Wednesday morning here. My word,
some obscene things.
There should be a parental rating against it. Jamie Overton has been doing some remarkable stuff from the middle. They load up the bowling machine, Daniel, and they set it at about 65, 70.
Okay.
And they have a series of, if you like, underlings waiting in the bleachers, various tiers, and they just
at the
hit
Vauxhall end.
At the Vauxhall end, and they just hit to their heart's content until they're knackered. So, Tom Curran hit one onto the roof, but Jamie Overton has been consistently the most extraordinary ball striker I think I've seen in a long, long time, and he will be he'll be coming into the fray later on.
Well, I really love what Surrey have done with Jamie Overton, because, you know, obviously having a back injury that's preventing him from bowling, they've said, well, we can get you in the fray as a batter. And let's not forget, he nearly got 100 on his Test debut.
Indeed. He's something similar as well.
A proper batter, as they say. Now that might run away for 4. It will. Just a little tickle. Wait to see the umpire's signal. Leg byes. So no bat on it, but 4 runs nonetheless for Surrey. End of the over. Got some momentum into their play there. 62 for 3 at the end of 8. They've still lost those 3 wickets, but as you said, they bat so deep. Dan Worrell's coming in at 11, and I've seen him in his first ball in the County Championship match for 6. But it's time for me to remind you of something. Women's Ashes. It's taking place this summer. I'm delighted to say I've been working on a bit of that, and as you can see, the Kia Oval is hosting its first Women's International since 2009 this summer. Claire Taylor involved in that game, a semi-final.
Classic.
Tickets now on sale. England will take on Australia in a Vitality T20 on the evening of Wednesday, July the 5th, part of this summer's hugely anticipated Women's Ashes series. You can see Surrey's young superstar Alice Capsey alongside the greats of the game, Natalie Sebber-Brunt, Alyssa Healy, Heather Knight, Talia McGrath, Elise Perry and others. That just brings a single to Narine. More than 11,000 tickets have already been sold, but you're at the Kia Oval, that means there are plenty more still available. Make sure you get there on the night. Tickets are available at kiaoval.com from just £24 for adults, with under 16 tickets priced at just £1.
That's a steal.
It's preposterous. Group discounts also available. Get onto kiaoval.com. Do come along to that.
They've sold over 70,000 already across the board for this Women's Ashes.
Twice as many already as for the previous Women's Ashes.
And still a few weeks from that first delivery, so it's really a staggering achievement already.
Well, Edgbaston's done so well. I mean, off the back of the Commonwealth Games last year, there's a real appetite for women's cricket. I remember when I first started covering women's cricket, it was all about Chelmsford, Fortress Chelmsford and Hove. This won't bring a boundary, just another couple. But now, I mean, it's emblematic of how women's cricket has exploded in this country, that instead of thinking of selling out Chelmsford or selling out Hove, they're selling out Edgbaston. And already 11,000 tickets sold here at the Kia Oval. What a marvellous spectacle that'll be. The 100, of course, was launched, Women's 100 was launched here at the Kia Oval in front of a record domestic crowd a couple of years ago. And the Oval Invincibles are, of course, the holders of the Women's 100. 2 years running now. Whatever the authorities do to try to scupper their chances, I've no doubt they'll be back just as strong. And of course, it had the great captaincy of Danae van Niekerk.
Indeed.
The first 10 balls of the Women's 100 were bowled by her wife.
Yes,
back to back.
This is true.
Roseanne Cap. Now back to this game, George Garden. Great to see him fit again.
Yeah, England were looking at George Garden quite closely at one stage. He was part of a couple of squads. Very sharp through the air, a natural athletic.
A left armour, Phil.
Yeah, crucial.
Everyone loves a left armour, a left arm quickie, like gold dust.
Well, we just had one in the box as well. I didn't want to ask Reece when he was going to be coming back, but from what I hear, he's making good progress. Great to see him back in the shirt.
Ryan with a huge mo. It's not connected too often in this innings, but it's, as Owen Morgan would say, he's showing great intent. 9 overs gone, 67 for 3. And Surrey just, well, they're being kept not quiet. Going at 7.5, they'll still be eyeing up 160 plus. Don't forget, this is the same wicket that Surrey played Kent on the other day. It's called that mammoth total, thanks in large part to Sean Abbott's 100. But You know, Kent got off to a flyer that day, and there were certain Surrey supporters a bit nervous, which I count myself. I was on a sitting next to a pool in Minorca as I saw that opening partnership ratchet up to beyond 90 in 8 overs. Then Surrey's bowlers got a stranglehold on the innings. Now he's laced that wonderful shot up and over extra cover, and that is what Narine can do.
There's a sort of casual butchery to his work, isn't there? He sort of shrugs his shoulders, undemonstrative kind of character. He's got great style, but there's also great aggression and violence in those shots. He snaps his wrists through the ball so cleanly.
Well, he's gone again. He's gone further this time. That's gone way over the boundary for 6. A little too full from Hudson Prentice, and Narine has climbed into that. It was Sean Abbott the other day that kick-started Surrey. Is it going to be Sunil Narine today?
That was there to hit, and hit it was. Stunningly done. Minimal movement. Kind of like a Matrushka doll Chris Gale there. Not much front foot, not much movement into the ball. Nothing fancy around the crease. Just let those hands drop through the ball, and that's gone a good 75, 80 yards. Hudson Prentice, by the way, Dan, who started well here, but he took some serious tap on Friday night, so his confidence is going to be a little bit brittle, you fear. He went for 50 odd, 51 it was in 3.5 against Somerset on Friday night.
Just a little look here. The umpire's obviously not happy with the ball after Narine's casual butchery, as you described it. Yes, there's the umpire holding it by a thread, which is usually a fair indication that you're going to need either a new ball or a pair of scissors. I've seen balls shaved before, but something that's deemed acceptable, but certainly not on this occasion. Looks like they're going to need another ball. Now, catches today in the crowd. We need to keep an eye on this. £1,000 a pop. I remember when they did this in New Zealand, and it caused something close to mayhem.
Yes. Can I ask?
Yes.
Can you take it two-handed?
Oh, now, that's a very good question.
Because
that was the problem in New Zealand, wasn't it?
Yeah, and in the SA T20 as well. So people were just tearing around like lunatics, but having to go one-handed. And then there was further confusion. If it deflected off someone else, but you still took it one-handed, did that count? No, it didn't. It's got to be clean.
Yeah.
We need to clear this one up, though, Daniel. Can you take it two-handed or not?
Well, I hope so.
I do too, because it's a big ask, isn't it? It's a big ask to clutch one-handed out there.
I mean, I've seen it done many times with people who wish to protect their pint.
Sure.
And a bit of bowling that, nice slower ball, which shows a bit of guts after you just hit it for a 4 and a 6. But yeah, speaking as a man who was run over on a roundabout with a bottle of wine in his hand, and when I landed, wine was nestled carefully on my sternum. I have a lot of sympathy wanting to protect your pint.
I can well see that. Chardonnay?
No, it's a cheeky Sauvignon Blanc. I despise Chardonnay. Now that was a much quicker ball. Lovely, rapid bouncer. Over the shoulder, but not over the head, crucially. I'm not sure Narine was expecting that. This has been a good comeback from Hudson Prentice after 4 and a 6. That was a bit of wheels on there. There's a bit of pace in this pitch, actually.
There is. Michael Birch has taken quite a few now with his fingers pointing up, hitting the gloves hard.
And then another slower ball, just as I was about to wax lyrical about Burgess's keeping.
He's a good keeper, though. He's very, very highly regarded. Good bat as well.
It's a great signing for Sussex, I think. So just a bye. He's come back well in this over. Just a single bye from the last 3 balls. Tom Curran's just been a little bit starved of strike of late. As we come up to the halfway mark. 1 ball shy of the 10th over. Field is out at deep square, deep mid-wicket, long on, long off. So don't expect this to be short. It's nicely tucked away. It's between 2 fielders. And, great effort on the boundary. But 4 for Tom Curran. He tied that really sweetly at halfway stage. Surrey 82 for 3.
Yeah, it's a lovely shot. Yeah, technically correct, leaning into the ball. Absolutely timed that perfectly, and there wasn't too much wrong with the delivery, really, especially with 2 men out on the boundary. He made a bit of a pig's ear of it, in truth.
Well, actually, fielder number 1 did the right thing, didn't he, unfortunately, but fielder number 2 then parried it back over the boundary. I should imagine there'll be a little bit of concern about 2 fielders herring towards each other if you're Sussex at the moment, because it's not a nice sight when you see 2 of your compadres clatter into each other.
Happened to me once, Dan.
Did it?
Broke my jaw in 3 places.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is it your fault? Do you think?
Let me put it this way.
Shared fault?
Let me put it this way. I held the catch.
Oh, well done.
I emerged with a broken jaw with the ball still in my right hand.
Ken Norton beating Muhammad Ali with a broken jaw.
Oh.
Beautifully bowled from Tim Mills.
Wasn't it just? Wasn't that class? Give himself room, Sunil Narine, and it's floated almost out the back of the hand by Tamal Mills, and it would have just dropped perfectly onto the base of leg stump if Narine hadn't had the presence of mind just to hold the position and dab it away. Classy cricket all round.
A little bit like Reece Topley, isn't he, in one sense, Tamal Mills, that's been really unfortunate with injuries and with Essex connections as well. Oh, that has been mullered. What a shot. Out towards the groundsman's hut. Got hold of that really well. Pace on this occasion, and a second boundary, second 6, I should say, for Sunil Narine. Hit really flat as well. A lot of bottom hand, a lot of wrist.
Yeah, like a southpaw MS Dhoni. Pulls that bottom hand through just to get that whip and the elevation that's gone flat. Like a doodle bug, as Richie would once have said, over straight mid-wicket.
I tell you what, I'm going to count your similes for Narine. I'm going to put them up in the window in a minute. Now that's been banged in really short. Let's take a look at the umpire's signal. No, just over shoulder height. That ballooned. Well, our vantage point is not side on, so we must trust the umpires watching there. But yeah, so far you've described him as a Russian doll version of Chris Gale. Southpaw MS Dhoni, a doodlebug. That's right. We've just seen the side-on view. I'm sorry, but that was way over head height. You'd signal wide in the box. Controversy here if Surrey lose off the last ball, I tell you.
Compelling mini battle though, this between these two.
Oh, now then, that's flown through the keeper's gloves. Did he get anything on that at all? No. Buys. Signals the umpire. That was banged in really short. Had a little look at the umpire again, just to make sure that wasn't over shoulder height this time. Be interested to see the side-on view of this. I think he might have got that just under shoulder height, but then it has flown. Burgess, no chance at all.
Yeah, penny for Michael Burgess's thoughts. He's looked pretty down in the dumps there, and he's standing a good 25, 30 yards back, and it's cleared him comfortably.
That's a 30-yard circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what are we talking? He's 5 paces, 25 yards. He's back further than a pitch length, and that's flown over his head. And this is the danger of pace. It can be incredibly potent, of course, but everything happens faster and the ball goes further. So that little flick from Narine went for 6. That ball that off a slower bowler would have nestled in the gloves of Burgess, or may have been carved to backward point for a single. It doesn't go against his figures, of course. That's the one thing.
No,
so
indeed.
Mills is 1 for 11 here, but he has in a sense conceded 4 byes because there was absolutely nothing the keeper could do about it. So he's going to have to do that all over again.
Yeah. Tamal may take some responsibility for that one that's flown over the keeper's head, but if you are a quick and you're bowling that quick, you just say, we'll just stand another 10 yards back.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is not up to me.
He might have had to put around the 15 back, because that was rising. That's beautifully timed from Curran. He's only get the single for it, though. An expensive over. Surrey after 11, 94 for 3. What are we thinking here? It's a used pitch. They say it's a used pitch, but come on. It's been used for 40 overs. I mean, do we think of a pitch when we turn up to watch a test match, Phil, which we do many times, do we think to ourselves at around 3 o'clock on day one, ooh, there's a bit of a used pitch?
Well, it was interesting, because I don't. But then Reece Topley, who knows a lot more about modern cricket than you or I, out there in the middle, it was the first point that he made when he came into the box earlier, and Ravi alluded to it as well at the toss. And Reece said that he was mildly surprised at Bopara's decision, who's coming into the attack now. He thought that you'd want to get your batting out of the way.
Nice start from Bopara. Massively underrated bowler over the years.
Not by me, Daniel.
Well, nothing he does is underrated by you. He's a colleague of mine on Test Match Special. He and Tim Mills.
Yeah. He's in form as well. He made a brilliant 80-odd and 140 and 40 balls in one of the warm-up games I saw.
Yes, I watched a little bit of that. And he's a very, very astute thinker on the game.
Yep.
An annoying bowler at this level. He'll dob it in at about 60-odd miles an hour, 63 miles an hour maybe, get a little bit of movement.
One of the game's good guys is Ravi Bopara. I interviewed him in his chicken shop in East Ham once upon a time.
Oh, I'll tell you more about that. Chicken shops galore for Ravi.
Yeah.
I interestingly enough, I went to interview Monty Palasar in the chicken shop in Tooting.
Okay.
He was launching one. And Ravi Bop was there.
Oh.
His cousin had one down in Tooting. It's a chicken shop empire.
So he spreads them around the family.
Yes.
So Ravi Senior, his dad, he was running the show. Ravi's brother, who I used to play against back in the Essex Leagues way back when, he was front of house. So it's very much a Bopara family business.
Briefly back to the cricket here. He's just conceded his first run off the bat of his 4th ball with 2 set batters going like a train. I think you probably want to squeeze out maybe 3 overs. He did that the other day, didn't he? I think Sussex's first game, old 3 overs. So they come round the wicket to the left-handed Narine. And where's Narine going to look to target? There's a deep mid-wicket, deep square leg and a long on. There's a long off as well, as you'd expect. Doesn't really play the sort of reverse ramps. Don't see much of that kind of improvisation. Looking to hit the ball behind the wicket, but that's where there is no protection at the moment. No, he's going to go high, and he's going to go very long, and this could be caught in the crowd. Has it gone too far even for that? Dropped in the crowd.
That was a steep, that went high. There was a cluster of punters underneath it.
Yeah.
They rather got in one another's way, I think.
They look ever so something like Mihir Bose down there.
Definitely people are congregating where they think the chance might come.
Well, here we see it. It goes high up in the air. Well, I don't quite know where that landed. He's gone again. This time should be taken. And is. Ward with a catch, making good ground to his left. Hit flatter this time, didn't quite get the elevation. But Narine, you'd say, has done his job there. 29 from 18 balls in the end. Surrey lose their 4th wicket, but a partnership of 53. He's got things back on track, 102 for 3.
Yeah, great to watch. A cameo there by Sunil Narine. Just rather came through that one, clothed it up the inside edge. Tidy catch there at long on in the end. But Ravi Bopara, as old as the hills really, and it just has such a natural feel for what to do with the ball. Jamie Smith will be the new man in. 4 down now, 102 on the board.
It's countdown cricket, a brand new way for us to play this summer. To bowl, bat and field, to be confident and take our chances. And always having fun. This is our game.
So Surrey have just lost their 4th wicket. Jamie Smith, the new bat. He's about to face his first ball. Now, you said he's as old as the hills, Ravi Bopara. He's 39.
Yeah.
And
he's looking good for it. He's in fine fettle.
I was going to run you through the teams he'd played for, if you fancy that.
Okay.
We'll have to wait till the end of the over, though, because it takes a while. I've introduced him on comms in this way once, and we nearly missed the first ball. Now he's gone for the little flip, up and over. Jamie Smith, first up. A little bit like a businessman, just throwing his tie over his left shoulder while eating soup at lunch.
I saw Ravi's maiden 100 for Essex, that famous day when Cook made a double and Ravi made 130 odd against the Australians in 05. I was there at Chelmsford for that.
You too are as old as the hills.
Oh, I'm older than the hills. Yeah.
Well, I know you've always had a very keen eye on Ravi. At one point, this has been smashed out towards long on. Won't quite reach the fielder on the full. I think he was behind just Alistair Cook and Kumar Sangakkara for the most number of runs scored in the 21st century in all forms of cricket.
Is that right?
Yeah, he played so much cricket.
Yeah.
As I'm about to demonstrate at the end of this over.
That's a classic stat, that, Dan.
Good bowling that from Archie Lenham. Just flatter to the new batter, Smith. He'll be keen to get on with it. Comes down the wicket and just takes a single off the last ball. So, are you buckled in and are you ready?
All right.
Teams that Ravi Bopara has played for, ladies and gentlemen. England, yes. Auckland, Chittagong Kings, Colombo Stars, Dhaka Dynamites, Dolphins, Dubai Capitals, England Lions, England under-19s, Essex, Gloucestershire, Jaffna Stallions, Kandy Warriors, Karachi Kings, Kings 11 Punjab, London Spirit, MCC, Multan Sultans, Peshawar Zalmi,
Quick.
Bank Cricket Club, Rajshahi Royals, St Kitts and Nevis Patriots, Sunrisers of Hyderabad, Sussex, Sydney Sixers and Sylhet Sunrisers. Just in time.
I make that 26 different teams that he's represented.
That's not bad, is it?
It's not bad.
Yeah, and I think I even left one out because I didn't think Essex Cricket Board really counted.
No. Yeah, he's been a marvellous servant to the game over the years. I can never quite shake the picture of Ravi hooking one of the Indian quicks down the throat of deep square at that 2013 Champions Trophy final. If he just batted for another over or two, England would have won that game. It would have been their first trophy in England for donkey's years, if not ever. And it would have changed the story around him, I think.
Yes.
Because there is that feeling with Ravi that he's what might have been. You can't quite shake that sense. He was a number 3 in the 09 Ashes. You know, he was the golden boy.
The word casual is used, but it's actually just because he gives an impression of that, because he has time and elegance, grace. He's actually a very deep thinker on the game. And he's got a very interestingly set field here. He's bowling pretty tight, just outside the line of off stump. For that, he's got a short third, a backward point, a deep point, a short extra cover, and a long off. That's his offside field. Fine legs up inside the circles, a deep square leg, a deep mid-wicket, and a long on. So acres of space, no one saving a single in front of square on the onside. Now Curran's gone high on this, might get away with it. Oh, what a great catch. A really good catch, running back over his shoulder.
Tom Alsop there, superb work, really, really good catch. I was with you, Daniel. I thought he'd just got enough to plunk it between the two fielders, but turning on his shoulder, that's a really, really good catch. And Sussex are doing this very well. Perhaps they've looked at the pitch and Ravi's prediction on it was a sound one, to bowl first, take the pace off the ball. He's turning in something very, very canny and very effective. This is really the engine room of this side, though, for Surrey. Jordan Clark is a monstrously strong hitter, and Jamie Overton, they're holding him back for the last few by the looks of it. But even beyond them as well, Tom Laws hits a very clean ball. Even Dan Worrell at number 11.
Well, they'll bat all the way down. There's no doubt about that. But they don't want to be losing wickets quite such regularity. They got away, though. They got away with it. They were helped somewhat by the fastest 100 in T20 blast history, equal fastest, by Sean Abbott. But Ravi Bopara has brought himself into the attack here. He's gone for just 12 runs, picked up a couple of wickets. He's bowled 10 balls. He looks ideal for this surface at the moment.
It's fascinating to watch. Anyone who's played club cricket, you're trying to imagine what it would be like to face proper top-class pros. And you look at Ravi, and it wouldn't look out of place on a Sunday afternoon. Down at Kennington Park, down the road, and yet exactly broadly unhittable.
Yes. He's the club dobber we've all faced and never been able to get away. Of his second over, he's got 2 for 14. Surrey just teetering a little here. 115 for 5 with 6 overs remaining.
Yeah. Suddenly 14 overs through, and Surrey's innings has spluttered along. There's been moments, but you feel like this is a crucial passage now in the context of the game, and for Jamie Smith as well, who's not necessarily noticed or renowned as a T20 player. He's more of a correct kind of red ball stylist, but he's also a very versatile cricketer, and he's been given a go here at 5. Quite a quiet start to his innings, but he'll be looking to make his mark. It's good work of his own bowling by Archie Lenham, who's come back well from being plonked down the ground for 6 first ball. It's hit hard, and that's 4. Jamie Smith getting into his work, just waited on that, didn't commit too much, hit the ball on the rise, hard and flat past Archie Lenham, could barely move.
Yes, if you talked earlier about casual butchery, that was not so much casual, that was savage.
Full, only got a bit of it, but enough for a single up to long on.
He's looking to hit very straight here, isn't he, Smith?
Yeah, field spread, of course, 5 now on the boundary. Tight offside field for Jordan Clark to face his first delivery from the leggy. What a cricketer Jordan Clark has been for this club. It's hit hard, but only for a single up to long off. Thinking about 2, but settling for the single.
Well, he's done a job, hasn't he, since Ricky Clark retired a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's as versatile a player as they have here. Opened the bowling last week in red ball cricket. He did it very, very well.
He got some real steepling bounce, actually, from the pavilion there. We noticed a little bit more bounce bowling towards our commentary position.
Same again. Don't bother to run for that, Jamie Smith. It was there to hit, and the leggy Archie Lenham is frustrated with himself, kicks the turf, takes his cap from the umpire, slouches back out into the outer, but Jamie Smith is starting to enjoy himself now. 2 strong hits down the ground against the spinner. He moves on to 19. Surrey now 125 for 5 with 5 to go.
It's really good batting because you can see long on and long off. They're not wide, but they're not super straight. So he's not got a lot to play with. It's quite a narrow V, but that's what he's aiming for. He's hit it twice in that over. Bopara with a 3rd over.
Yeah, ambling in 2 for 14 so far. Just the single. It's never quite there with Ravi. That's his genius.
You never quite line him up, do you?
No.
You always talk about, we'll bowl 3 overs on the bounce. And it doesn't look, it always looks innocuous, but no one ever really takes him down.
That's Ravi all over. Pure class by the Sussex skipper. Jamie Smith gave himself just too much to do. Ravi would have seen out the corner of his eye that he made room to free up the onside, tried to get the sweep out, and he was a fair way away from it as it just ambles casually into middle and leg, barely removes the bails. This has been a mini masterclass here by the canny old operator.
That is, for all the world, really a nothing ball. It's a sort of ball that you bowl when you've got to do a bowl out in the indoor nets because it's been raining. And the smart ones come in off 3 or 4 paces and just bowl it full enough to hit middle and off. And he's done very little with that. But partly because he's done so little with it, I think that Jamie Smith got bamboozled by it. It's a terrific bit of bowling. It's his 3rd wicket. And Surrey now are in a spot of bother here. I would think they're going to need 160 as a bare minimum here. That's still 34 runs away. They've got the batting to do it, of course, and they've got your man who says he's been up to X-rated shenanigans at Kia Oval on Wednesday mornings. Looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah, Jamie Overton, if he's got any sense, then he'll just see off Ravi here, I think. A couple of deliveries, 4 deliveries in fact still to go.
Well, that doesn't look like it's going to be his methodology here.
No, there's your answer, but again, what is this magical potion of Ravi Bopara?
Well, part of it's a bit of the alpha move, isn't it? It's a little bit like how Tim Murtagh's forever getting Phil Salt out in red ball cricket.
Yeah.
You just don't feel that they should be allowed to bowl at you. And
that's exactly it. Yep.
That's the genius of it. Because Ravi is not an alpha. He's something. He's almost not a Greek letter at all. It's almost like a sort of a Chinese subscript.
Yeah, nicely done. He's off the mark at least, Jamie Overton. So 1 more delivery of Ravi Bopara's 3rd over. This is a game-changing spell so far. 3 for 15, 3 for 16 as it stands.
He's going to give himself the 4th.
Does he dare? It probably makes sense to on this track. Field set as it is. Then it'd be very Ravi just to shrug his shoulders and give it to one of the quicks as well. Last delivery. And he'll take that. In fact, they're coming back for a second. It's going to be tight. And he's just made his ground. Jordan Clark comes back for a second there. It's 129 for 6 after 16. Right then, Daniel, Tamal Mills, 2 overs, 1 for 13 so far, back into the attack as predicted. He'll take those 2 death overs from the Mickey Stewart Members Pavilion end. Jamie Overton will be waiting for him. As I said earlier, he's been opening those vast shoulders of his quite happily for the last couple of weeks, warming up for this tournament. He's not bowling yet, although we're hopeful of seeing him later in the summer. This could be an interesting contest.
Whatever happens here, it's either going to be a very short contest between the two, or it's going to be a very explosive one.
And true to form, plays it very quietly out into the offside.
Absolutely typical.
Like it's
just guide it to backward point off the front foot.
It's been a stop-start innings this by Surrey, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Sussex have taken wickets at exactly the right time, haven't they? They had Surrey got off to a good start in the first 3 overs, then it was clawed back at the back end of that power play. Sam Curran out to an absolutely incredible catch at backward point. That was a key moment in the game, and then Ravi Bopara coming at the attack.
Beaten for pace. scrambling a single, scrambling a bye. Michael Burgess will be frustrated with that. It just died on him, and the keeper had to just snaffle it on the half volley. Popped out, and it was very, very clever, smart running by Jamie Overton to bring himself back onto strike.
Well, he's a big man, and didn't take too many strides to get from one end to the other.
I saw him bowling before the game, actually.
Did you?
And
yeah,
he's looking in fine fettle, so hopefully we'll see him out there with the ball before too long as well. Inside edge, well stopped, brilliantly done by the keeper.
Yep, saved 3 there, and those are not easy. An under edge, he had to dive very quickly to his left to stop that. If it hadn't gone past him, it was heading all the way to the boundary. But that's the Overton approach that I'm expecting here. If he connects with it, that's going to go top tier of the Galadari. Fine leg and third man are up inside the ring.
Slower ball into the pitch, clothed away for a single. 3.2 overs to go in this innings. Sussex will be pretty pleased with life as it stands.
20 balls, 2 a ball, sorry, to 173, which would be tough to get. But you feel it might be around about par. I mean, the pitch has played pretty well. The ball's come onto the bat nicely. Not seen a lot of extravagant turn, for example.
Sharp, and he's got enough on it. 1 bounce 4 over the keeper's head. He's done that very well, Jamie Overton, because that was quick effort ball by Tamar Mills, and he's climbed into it and got just enough on it. Much needed boundary.
And what he's also done, won't be able to see this on the replay, that ball has bounced off the turf and right into the water on the gully. There we go, right in the water on the side screen. And they might need to get another ball for this, because that will have soaked it. The side screen's down below us. They've got the little drains that run on the side of each of them. And the ball has just bounced straight into it and then run along, saturating the ball in the process.
It's classic cricket. It hasn't rained in days and days. It's a beautiful balmy day out there, weather set's fair, and the ball's soaking wet.
Well, they're going to continue using it.
Yeah.
I love Tamar Mills' approach here. Look, the little skip.
Yep.
Like a dressage horse.
Didn't get much of it. And of course, the field's set for that kind of shot. Retains the strike with 3 to go. Jamie Overton and Jordan Clark still haven't quite got going yet. Does Ravi Bopara give himself a 4th? He's bowled 3 beautiful overs. 3 for 18.
Do it.
He's kept his cap on as he's ambling around at extra cover.
It's always the way. And then you look at the scorecard, don't you? At the end of it, you look at the scorecard and you think, why has Bopara bowled 3 overs and taken 3 for 17 or whatever it is, 3 for 18, there you go. Why has he left 1 over in the tank? And he knows what he's doing here.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move. George Garton will probably see this innings out, Botsall end, and he's going to go round the wicket with that left arm angle. 2 men up on the offside and a man on the 45 as well, so he's going to have to bowl stump to stump as best as possible here. It's a good start, just a single into the onside. They're going to take it, they're going to come back for 2. Jamie Overton with those big long legs, and he's just got home.
That's terrific running from Overton. He wants to strike for sure, and I think this is a good move, because Overton, again, is another one of these players you don't really think is going to try to do the little flip or the reverse or the ramp. That's going to try and hit you down the ground. Now, someone like Ollie Pope, this field for Ollie Pope would be a disaster for Garton coming round the wicket, because he'd just simply look to scoop you over backward point down to the boundary.
It was in the slot for Jamie Overton, but he didn't get much of it. Come back for another couple though, so that's 4 from the first 2.
He's going to be puffing a bit here, Jamie Overton, because he's run some very sharp singles through to the keeper. He's now run 2 2s. This might want a little bit of a breather. Again, there's no one saving one in front of square on the onside. But he's not really thinking about the single, he's thinking about climbing into the ball and sending it into the stands here at the Vauxhall end.
In the slot again, just losing his shape on that. So just a single up to long off. Every bowler's done their job here. No one's got away. No one's become a liability for the captain, Papara. James Coles was maybe a bit expensive initially, the left arm spinner, but aside from that, everybody's done a good job. Fresh air shot. Excellent comeback here by George Garton.
Pace on that as well. 14 balls remaining. So again, 2 a ball from here gets Surrey to 170 odd.
Which is obviously competitive on a slightly used track. But again, you assume outrageousness all the time with this cricket team, just going down leg, so nothing doing there, but they will squeeze a single off the pad. You just assume something dramatic's going to happen whichever 11 they pick is going to take this pitch. And think about the players that aren't playing. I mean, Jason Roy, Pope, Folkes, Abbott, Atkinson.
Yeah, and Atkinson's having a terrific season.
Yeah,
been used pretty sparingly, but I tell you, he's put on an extra yard or 2 a pace.
Yeah. It's not quite happening for Jamie Overton. That was there to hit. And he's frustrated with himself.
Nicely bowled. I'm going to give a little bit of that to Garton. I think he showed a bit of disguise in that. 2 overs to go. Still eyeing 170. Could be more. Who's going to bowl them? Be Mills and Garton, you would think. What's left and available. It won't be the spin of Lenham. Looks like it isn't, sadly. It'll be Ravi Papara.
Perry Papara just to stroll off after 3 overs. 3 for 18. Some good wickets in there as well.
And when he's not been bowling, he's spent pretty much the entirety of this game at either mid-off or extra cover, isn't he?
Round the wicket now then, Tamal Mills trying to cramp the right-hander. Or throw one outside off stump. Let that one go, isn't he? He'll have to bowl that one again.
I'm just checking to see. Tamal Mills just making sure he gets back to his mark here, because the cut-off time is 3:50. It's currently 3:45. And so he's got to start that over all over again. You'll see there, he just took off to make sure that he was getting back to his mark. As then fielders have to be moved around if they don't hit the cut-off time.
Oh! Sharp, fast, aggressive, peak Tamal Mills. Jamie Overton had barely picked his bat up, and that off stump for the 2nd time today has been uprooted. Tamal Mills is on one. Pure fast bowling, and Sussex are doing this very well indeed.
That is a lovely bit of bowling, just full and fast, crucially. Mills will bowl all sorts of change-ups. That was a change-up in the sense that it was his quickest ball. And it's knocked out the off-stump. Overton, no foot movement, just trying to flick that into the onside, gets nothing on it. Deep for pace. Sussex continue to take wickets at crucial times.
That they do, 146 for 7 now, with 9 deliveries left in the innings. So from the fielding side's perspective, they'll be thinking if they can just keep Surrey to under 160, that will be one hell of an achievement.
Well, yeah, if they can keep that required run rate to around about 8. We saw 220 scored here the other day. Kent got off to a really quick reply. Different day, as we said, slightly used pitch. Might make a difference, might depress those scores a touch.
Cameron Steele's the new man. Got a bit of that. Squeeze it out into the offside, but no run, straight to the man at backward point. Tamal Mills turns on his heels and heads briskly back to his mark.
Just keeping an eye on that cut-off time. It's not changed with the loss of a wicket, so there's just 3 minutes for Mills to get through 4 balls. So there are all sorts of incentives for Surrey to hit a boundary here, not least of which is to make it take longer to bowl the over. And you can see the clock. on the Mickey Stewart Members Pavilion.
Packed as ever. Brilliantly bowled, slower ball.
Wow.
Cameron Steele saw his life flash before his eyes for a moment there, only for it to drop harmlessly just wide of his off stump. It's been a clinic by Tamal Mills all day.
Oh, just shades of Chris Reed there. Was it Dion Nash?
Yes.
Losing the ball.
Courtney Walsh to Graham Thorpe as well, did it in a test match.
It's a brilliant ball if you can do it. Because the batter there thinks and he's getting a beamer, and he's not. The ball just sinks.
They're considering a bye, but not on. This is superb work by Tamal Mills, who's just having a good afternoon out, but he's making the point to the England selectors as well. After all of these injury problems, he looks fit, strong.
He's had some weird ones as well. I mean, the cut toe is an extraordinary injury. And after a wide off the first ball, he's not conceded a run off his next 4. This could be a game-winning over.
And that's just a Jaffa that's hit the seam, held its line from around the wicket, and beaten Cameron Steele all ends up jogging back to his mark. 1 delivery to go, 2 minutes left on the clock. This has been superb by Tamal Mills. He's enjoyed himself. It's the kind of track you want to bowl on if you're a bowler of his ilk.
It's an object lesson here. I mean, this could be an old style maiden before Wines went against the bowler's analyses here.
You'll pick up a single, but no more than that. They're trying to come back for a second. In fact, they are. He's going to be out by yards. Ravi Bopara calls them in now as well. He's focused here, is Sussex's skipper. They've done this very well. They've fielded sharply, apart from that one aberration first over. Aside from that, they've been good. They are entirely on top of this. They're running through into position, so they are ready to go. Just a minute still on the clock. George Garton is in position for the final over.
This one looked like suicide here, but I don't mind that. What Steele's done is he said, I'm going to get Jordan Clark back on strike. Steele was a new bat. He was struggling to lay bat on ball. He wants Clark on strike at the start of the last over. He knows there's still Tom Laws and Dan Worrell to come. I wondered actually if they might have put Worrell up in place of Cameron Steele in that over when they lost a wicket, but probably thought the pace of Mills might not work.
In the slot, just shy of long on the bounce. Coming back for 2, and he's gone 2. Excellent work again in the outer, this time James Coles. Good flat throw right over the stumps, and Tom Laws has to go without facing a delivery. Surrey now 9 down, still with 5 balls to negotiate.
Now that is a slightly different issue. I'm not quite sure that was the right option from Tom Laws. Again, I can understand he wants to get Jordan Clark back on strike, but now the problem that Clark has got is that he now can't afford to get out, because if he's out, Surrey are all out.
Yeah, it just sat up so nicely as well for the fielder. Left armour, so takes it on the left hit on the bounce. You don't have to crouch. It was perfect to just take it in the hands and offload it. Tom Laws was nowhere in the frame, really.
Well, from thinking about 170, only, what are we talking, 7 balls ago at the start of Tamal Mills' over, which only went for 2, now Surrey are looking at 150.
That's felled him, I'm afraid. I think that was an inside edge into the unmentionables. He's okay as far as it goes.
Well, he's been hit in those unmentionables already this season. A video that went simply viral. Let's take a look at this again. Ouch. Yes, that is bullseye.
4 deliveries left of this innings. 148 for 9. Bowled him! That is your lot. Thank you very much. Sussex have been superb out there this afternoon. Surrey do not complete the 20. 148 all out. George Garton powers through Jordan Clark's fateful hoik. And how about that, Daniel Norcross? 148 all out. Who saw that coming at 2:30 this afternoon?
Well, I mean, actually, who saw that coming at 102 for 3? One ball left in the 12th over. Surrey at that point would have been still eyeing up a potential 200, but Sunil Narine got out, caught it deep, long on. And then after that, 7 wickets have fallen in total for just the 46 runs. They haven't even used up the 20 overs. Top score, Sunil Narine himself with those 29 runs, 3 sixes, 2 fours. A lot of players getting starts, no one really going on. It's a combination of factors, wasn't it? But Ravi Bopara, I think, has got to take an enormous amount of credit. Firstly, for the way he's marshalled his bowlers. Don't forget that Sussex come into this game missing two overseas players. McAndrew and Shadab Khan would almost certainly have been bowling on this surface. Well, they both would have been without a shadow of a doubt. And instead, he's had a slightly patched up bowling attack, and none of them have let them down. They've been absolutely superb. They've been brilliant in the field. There was that one drop catch off Laurie Evans early on. We wondered how much that would cost them. It didn't cost too much. Evans going on to make 23. But then a superb grab by Coles, a backward point to get rid of Sam Curran. That was a key moment in the game as Surrey were 49 for 3. They did get it back together with that 53-run 4th wicket partnership. But after that, the wickets just kept tumbling. And right at the very end there, Surrey 146 for 6 at the start of Tim Mills' over. Was 145 for 6 at the start of the over. That was the 19th over of the innings. They managed to get just a wide and 2 singles in their remaining 9 legitimate deliveries and lost all 4 wickets. A fantastic closing 12 balls or so from Sussex. And just take a look at those bowling figures. Run us through those for us, Phil. Well, actually, we'll throw back to Ash and then I'll run you through the bowling figures.
Well, what a first innings. Oh, my word. The sun is still shining, and I mean, it took my breath away, to be honest. Sussex captain Ravi Bopara, he opted for Sussex to field in the first innings. They did, of course, win the toss. And my word, have they come here to play today. Surrey finishing with a respectable 148 runs, but all out. The first time that's happened across their T20 campaign. This is their 3rd game of the campaign, whereas it's Sussex's 2nd game. But they're coming off the back of a loss and really fired up for this one. Now, I'm going to be catching up with Phil Walker very shortly, but let's just take a look at those highlights now.
Clear the highlights of Surrey's innings. Started some murderous shots from Laurie Evans in partnership with Will Jacks, the top of the order, as they have been throughout. Laurie Evans smashing the ball down the ground. Coles bowling a couple of overs at the top, which was a little bit of a surprise. The first one was parsimonious. Thereafter, the second one just a little bit of tap. Very good straight down the ground. And this one from Laurie Evans went miles back and hit the roof of the beds of sand. It was an absolutely colossal hit from Laurie Evans. He was just getting into his stride, but then Tim Mills into the attack with an absolute snort and knocking the stump out of the ground. We'll see another one of those later on from Tim Mills, who really mixed up his pace terrifically well today. Soon after, Will Jacks had just been getting going, just the toe-ended one was caught by Coles in the ring. Perhaps the ball just a little bit too full for the shot, bit of a shovel. Got height but no different distance, offering an easy catch. Surrey at that stage 39 for 2. And then this, what a catch that was. Absolutely magnificent from Coles. The ball was just sliding away from him. You can see here at the side-on view. What a fantastic catch that is. His weight moves to his left foot, then he has to dive away to his right. Just clings onto it between thumb and forefinger. You can see the delight on his face. And it really was a magnificent grab. Brought Sunil Narine to the crease, and he did what he so often does, stood and delivered, smashing the ball down the ground. He had a few of these sixes, increasingly further back. That little flick out towards the groundsman's hut was nothing more than a little bottom hand. A little twirl. I think at the time Phil Walker described it as an MS Dhoni. Southport MS Dhoni. And then this one, well, this one was dropped in the crowd. He got a lot of distance on that. It's one of the very rare occasions that Ravi Bopara was got hold of. Going wide of the crease, trying to take it even wider, but Sunil Narine's got pretty decent swinging arc. And it was dropped there then. He went next ball, tried to repeat the trick, this time over long on. Good catch by Ward, who was on as a substitute for Ali Orr, who had gone off injured after diving, trying to take a catch of his own. Smart grab away to his left. Bopara was a problem throughout. Picking up wickets regularly, but really good catching as well. That's one from Allsop coming over his shoulder, one of the hardest to get. That was Tom Curran, who'd been slightly starved of strike. He made it to 23 from 21, trying to get on with it, but Ravi Bopara, the wily old campaigner, getting him again. Fours smashed down the ground straight was the order of the day for Jamie Smith. He got a few of them back past the bowler. And then Ravi Bopara again, getting Jamie Smith looking to flick the ball over fine leg. He was up inside the circle. A nothing ball, really. A little bit of movement from off to leg. Bopara knew exactly what he was doing. And at this stage, he had Surrey in all sorts of bother. Timar Mills, his pace threatened to go the distance as Jamie Overton got the top edge, flew into the sight screen. A couple of deliveries from Timar Mills, flew over wicket keepers. One for 4 buys. Absolutely rocketed that one, taking the top edge, but then off stump, right out of the ground. When he bowled quick, Timar Mills, he bowled exceptionally quickly today. And then Surrey just really collapsed. The loss of Jamie Overton, that was 146 for 7. And then a couple of run-outs. Trying to get Jordan Clark back onto strike. A few sacrifices there. Cameron Steele on that occasion. Again, good fielding from Sussex. No real pressure on them on that occasion, but they've been superb, both catching and just in their ground fielding. Here's another one. Perhaps not the wisest move, this, from Tom Laws. He could have taken strike himself, but so keen was he to get Jordan Clark back on strike, he sacrificed himself off the first ball of the 20th over. And that was the 9th wicket, 148, and Surrey didn't add another run as George Garton castled Jordan Clark. He went for 8, and Surrey were bowled out for 148. Ravi Bopara, the pick of the bowlers, with 3 for 18.
Well, there we have the highlights, and I'm joined by Phil Walker. Phil, very interesting first innings, but before we get into all of that, where is Sean Abbott? That's what the fans want to know. That's what I want to know.
Well, Sean Abbott is resting because those 34 balls that he faced on Friday evening has clearly taken it out of him. And so, bless him, he's sat with his feet up somewhere. You're not the only person in this ground to be asking where he is, because Surrey could have done with him there. It was a stop-start innings, really. Yeah. They spluttered along. They are well below par on a flat oval track. And while they have an embarrassment of riches, as we know, they could leave out any number of top-quality players and still bring in quality. They probably needed somebody to really grab that middle order, those middle overs. Sunil Narine touched upon it, played nicely. A nice breezy cameo for 29, but once he went, the innings kind of just died away, really. They lost 4 wickets in the final 2 overs. So they went from threatening 160, 165 to 148. And Sussex, a word for them, they were just superb, really, from start to finish. There was one blip, there was one drop catch early on in the first over when Laurie Evans hit one hard to square leg. Henry Crocombe put it down, and at that moment you thought, young side, slightly depleted with injuries as well, that they really needed to take every chance coming. Well, from that moment onwards, they did.
Well, I mean, we lost our starting batsman in the first 20 minutes. They probably went a little bit sooner than we thought. Laurie Evans' first wicket to go. He, of course, also has played for Sussex, so that must hurt a bit more, maybe.
Well, I think whenever you face Tamal Mills, who's one of the quickest bowlers in the world, let alone in England, there's always great drama and theatre whenever Tamal Mills picks up a cricket ball. And as soon as he came on to bowl, there was a quiet couple of overs with the left-arm spinner James Coles initially, and as soon as Tamal came into the attack, the ante was upped. And Laurie had played a beautiful shot over extra cover for 6. But to do that against the left-arm spinner is one thing, to do it against Tamal Mills is another. And Tamal Mills won the day in that particular contest. And that then began this procession, really, from then on.
And just a word on what we can expect from both teams in the second innings, because, of course, Ali Orr is off, so maybe it's going to be a little bit tougher for Sussex.
That's a big loss for them. So, as the aforementioned chance, or not chance, but the 6 that was hit by Laurie Evans, Ali Orr is a very fine young player, very good left-hander, who would have been opening the batting here, went to try and take the catch. Manful effort, landed badly on his knee, and we haven't seen him since. So, if he does play, if he does bat, he's likely to bat on one leg, hobbling along down the pipe in the order. So it's a big ask for Sussex, but my word, they'd have taken 148 to chase down on a nice flat oval track. It's a used pitch, so it's perhaps not as true as you'd get with a fresh pitch. They played on this one on Friday night, just gone. But Sussex in the ascendancy, and Surrey will have to pull out all the stops to hold them at bay.
They really will. Great to speak to you, Phil. I'm going to let you run back up to the commentary box and let's see how this one plays out and head across to Daniel Norcross.
Thank you, Ashleigh. Well, Ali Orr has got a runner. Oh, we love a runner. Oh, we absolutely love a runner. So this would be something to do with external injuries and internal injuries. So there's every chance, because he's banged it in the process of play today. He's allowed a runner, and so Ali Orr will now limp his way to the square leg position. Can't quite yet see who's running for him. It's quite rare to see an opener with a runner, because ordinarily, of course, the runner is usually somebody who's already out. On this occasion, of course, nobody is yet out, so Orr is going to bat, which is encouraging signs for Sussex. Not so much for Surrey, who need wickets. They're going to restrict Sussex to below 148. Will Jacks bowling the first over, so very similar to Sussex's approach, starting with spin from the pavilion end. He's had a bit of a golden arm in this T20 so far, Will Jacks. Picked up 2 important wickets in one over the other day against Kent, and he broke Middlesex hearts. Surrey yet again thrashed their neighbours in T20. It's become something of a rite of passage for Middlesex players. So Orr is on strike, and he has a big swing and a miss. So Orr on one leg, I think, is going to go hard. And this is going to be entertaining. I do love a runner. The runner is at backward point this time. Surrey fielder right next to him, getting into his ear. Phil Walker, you've made it. You've made it back from the gantry.
Yeah, that was fun, yeah.
Yeah, enjoy it out there.
Yeah, it was a good bracing jog back as well along the 3rd floor corridor. So Ali Orr is playing with one leg.
He's batting on one leg with a runner.
Marvellous.
Which we love to see. Now a little bit of turn there for Will Jacks. Clark's at the other end with him. So many things can go wrong with runners. I mean, for a start, the batter can forget they've got a runner and start running. That's nicely played. Little push into the offside. No more than a push. I think it's going to make it all the way. That's a really good controlled shot from Clark. And the first boundary for Sussex. Chasing this modest target of 149. That's all in the timing and the placement, getting that between mid-off and extra cover. And you can see Despite the lush emerald green of the grass, the ball is running away very rapidly on this outfield. Should be just a single to finish the over, so 7 from it. Tidy start from both Jacks and from Sussex. 149 the target.
Gorgeous shot, that.
It was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, effortless. Gower-like, really. Just waltzed down the track and just punched it past extra cover. They like him, Clark. They produce a lot of good young cricketers. A lot of good young left-handed openers, actually.
Well, didn't they put out a side which I think was the youngest in county championship history?
Yep, that's it. That's it.
The average was something truly nuts, like 21 and a bit or something.
At the start of this season, you're right, you're absolutely right, but at the start of this season, Paul Fabre came in as head coach and was bristling a bit at that idea that it's a kind of academy of cricket. You know, they want to be competing properly as a bona fide, gnarly cricket team. And you've seen evidence of that so far this year. They don't just produce good players, but they're starting to actually create a cohesive unit as well around these young players.
Now, Dan Worrell's in the attack, and I have to confess that I first became really aware of Dan Worrell through watching Big Bash.
Yes.
Very fine T20 player. I wasn't quite as aware of his red ball skills until he came to Surrey. He'll be England qualified in around about 15 months' time, provided he continues to spend the requisite number of days in the UK. He's already been capped by Australia, I think 1 ODI cap. And he beats Clark with an absolute beauty. He has been a brilliant acquisition by Alex Stewart, who's a very clever operator. He's effectively picked up another overseas player, because he doesn't count as an overseas player. If you're wondering, he counts as, because he's got a British passport, am I right in saying?
That's correct. You say he's capped by Australia, you're right. He's also capped by Surrey as well, and wrote on Instagram a lovely message about what it meant to him.
Oh, and again.
Yeah, he's become a part of the scene here. He was brilliant last year, wasn't he? Just kept on coming in hard. Took more wickets in red ball cricket than any other Surrey bowler. I'll never forget his spell in the midst of that heat wave, that terrible 40 degrees.
It was lovely.
In summer.
Terrible? It was lovely.
Do me a favour, Daniel.
Oh, I loved it.
It's not for me. But anyway, he ran through the pain, ran through the heat. It was extraordinary to watch. And he's a very, very canny, skilled operator. He can get it going both ways. As you see here, his stock delivery is the away swinger to the right-hander. But here he sent 3 right across the left-hander, 2 of which jagged off the seam. A little bit of movement in the air as well. He's an old-fashioned bowler, isn't he?
He also bowls that greatest of things, the heavy ball.
And he does.
Love the heavy ball. Now this could be tight. Sure, the stumps misses. It'll bring the limping oar onto strike. Have you ever batted with a runner?
I was a runner for somebody, but I've never batted with as... I was never crocked, but I was a runner once.
I did it for 8 consecutive matches at university.
Superb. So
as captain, I was opening the batting.
What, just 8 consecutive different injuries to various people?
No. I had a very slight thigh issue.
Oh, I see.
The first game.
Right.
Oh. Now then, scampering through for a quick single. The kick at the stumps has come at the wrong end. And the leg by, I think, will be signalled. So
what you
one off the over.
What you're really telling me here, Daniel, is that you batted for 8 games in a row without bothering to actually run.
Yeah, well, what I did was I'd clutch my thigh after the first run of the 3rd, 4th ball of the match, and then I'd signal for my runner, and I was in my richest vein of form ever. I hit 8 consecutive scores between 40 and 49, which was necessary because at university you couldn't afford the jug.
Of course.
And I did all that with a runner, and I realised it was my way forward. I'm better batting with a runner than without.
You're a very likeable bloke, but my word, persuading runners to do it 8 games in a row, that's quite an effort.
Well, that's quite a shot. And that's going to make it all the way. Great use of the feet. Jacks staying on for a second over, just as Coles had done earlier. And a really good use of the feet to plant that ball over wide, long off. Well, I was captain, so it wasn't so much a matter of persuasion as order.
Now we're getting down to it. Ali Orr is a beautiful player to watch, and they like him a hell of a lot here at Sussex. It was a breakthrough year last year. And all I'll say, beware the one-legged assassin, right? Gordon Greenwich, all the others. It's become a cliche in the commentary box. You roll them out. But when you have nothing to lose, you just have to stand there and play through the line. It can be a very dangerous option. That was a gorgeous, gorgeous shot.
Now then, Surrey player is limping off and is being a bit, I can't see without binoculars who
it's Jamie Overton, Daniel.
It's Jamie Overton that's walking off.
Doesn't look good there.
No, he doesn't, and I wonder how he acquired that injury. I think of a second that isn't there now that he's just being looked at here. Is that a knee? I think it might be. I wonder if he's just turned his knee perhaps there. I'm trying to dig out any signs of how that injury's happened. And that's another player down, this time Surrey player. Wouldn't have been bowling today, Jamie Overton, I don't think. Now then, this could be tight, but good pressure on the fielder. Induces the misfield of Laurie Evans. They get through for another single.
Well, at least it doesn't look, at least to the naked eye, like it's a recurrence of the stress fracture of the back that kept him out initially. Looks like it's just a knee complaint.
Oh, now then, Jax likes that. And if there was no bat on that, I can understand why he would like that. I'd like to see that, look at that one. That's rather hurried on with the arm. Oh, well, if that's it bat first, then obviously it's not going to be out. If that's hit pad, you can see why Jax was interested. Left or spread eagle, and he's responded with a wonderful chip drive up and over mid-off. Up to the pavilion for 4 more, a second boundary in the over.
Just going back to that LBW shout, it certainly hit a lot of the bat. The question is just whether it just flicked the top of the pad beforehand, because it was certainly adjacent if it had done.
No, he's gone big over wide, long on, and that has made it into the crowd, hasn't been caught. But 2 6s and a 4 in that over, and Jax, well, he's had a golden arm so far in this year's T20, but not today. His 2 overs have gone for 25. And the Sussex Sharks have started very brightly. 27 went out last, chasing this modest target of 149. Surrey are going to need wickets quickly here. Phil Walker.
Yeah, indeed, and the gamble, I say a gamble, it made sense. It was good logic to have the off-break bowler against the 2 left-handers, but it's not worked, has it? Will Jax has gone the distance. He's not done too much wrong, but it's an inviting boundary for the left-hander up towards the Bedford stand. And Ali Orr is a fine young player, and when he opens his shoulders, it stays hit. I saw some highlights from the first game that they played. He's an excellent player to watch.
Now then, fielder interested, but it's just going to land in front of deep backward point. Jordan Clark running in off the boundary by the sides and the scoreboard. Yes, I've seen a few highlights of Ali Orr, but never seen him in the flesh.
Yeah, he really announced himself last year. He made a number of rattling red ball hundreds at pretty much a run a ball. Tom Haynes is the golden boy down there, but Ali Orr is very highly regarded as well.
Quicker one that this time from Worrell.
You can see with the knee as well there that those kinds of shots, when you're having to rock back, they are seriously uncomfortable for a player who you just hope that it's not too bad, because he's integral really to this Sussex Sharks lineup.
Well, it's bad enough losing your 2 overseas, now losing your gun opener as well. Worrell nearly through this time. It's a brave thing to do though, to come out when you know you're not 100%, come out with a runner. And essentially swing for the hills. I guess he's thinking, if we can get Sussex off to a quick enough start with a target of this type, a quick 30 from me could be match winning. Change of angle this time from Worrell. I don't like the look of Orr here at all. He's really wincing every time he makes a movement. Every time he has to walk off to square leg.
Yeah, he's in trouble here. I just hope he doesn't exacerbate the problem.
Well, the physios will presumably know what it is that is the issue. And they'll have judged that he can have a swing and then walk 20 yards. Oh, there's the first wicket. Smart catch by Will Jackson, covers. Drilled straight to him by Clark. Worrell has the breakthrough. And just as Surrey did at this stage, actually, Sussex losing their first wicket, 29 for 1.
He's hit that well, but straight to the man. He's not had to move a muscle there, really, Will Jacks. And they needed that. Because another couple of overs of these two rattling along, and a smallish target would have almost been broken down.
It's Worrell again, isn't it? Look at those figures. 1 for 3 in the power play. He's bowled 11 balls. He's beaten the bat. That's a very authentic 1 for 3. Beaten the bat time and again. He could have had Orr out a couple of times in this over, swinging and missing. But it brings Tom Alsop to the crease.
Tom Alsop's done well for Sussex since signing from Hampshire. Signed on loan initially just to play white ball cricket, and has now embedded himself in the side in all formats. He's a good young player.
And he's off the mark straight away. Left-handers galore at the top of this Sussex line-up. So 4 overs gone, 30 for 1. They're going on at pretty much the initial asking rate. The initial asking rate was just under 7.5. They're going at 7.5. This is the power play, but they have lost a wicket in that over. And if any of you had been thinking you were going to catch some Surrey cricket today and then maybe head over and watch the IPL final, well, I'm delighted to say there's no point, because it's raining still in Ahmedabad. No IPL final yet. They have a reserve day, and it might be decided by a 5-over thrash later on. Who would have thought, after 1,215 games spread over the last 14 years, or however long this tournament's been going?
What's another day?
What's another day? Well, that they might even consider doing a 5-over thrash seems kind of preposterous.
But also apt.
Sort of. So Sam Curran's going to take up the attack for the pavilion end. And I just want us to have a little close-up of Sam Curran when he runs into bowl, because he runs in with the furious rage of a young man who has been told by his mother that he's got to stop playing outside and come in for tea.
Yep.
He's got this most wonderful snarl. He's had it all his life. And
he reminds me of the little lad in Where the Wild Things Are. Do you remember that book?
Yes. Oh, there we go. There's a snarling face. But he's always had a fantastic cricketing brain, you know. He's captain of Surrey at his preposterous age of 24, is he? And here we go. Take a look at this face here. And he'll get even more angry. There he goes. Snarl, up to the wicket. Get out.
Yeah, he's a week shy of his 25th birthday, Dave.
Yes.
6 days out from his 25th.
I remember watching him when I think he was 17, and his skipper, Gareth Batty, must have been about 40-odd then. Certainly old enough to be his father. Oh, right in the block hole. Well fielded off his own bowling as well. And I remember watching him. Batty came over, and Sam Curran, at the age of 17, telling him exactly where he wanted his field. And you might think that bowlers ought to be able to do that, but 17-year-old bowlers, when you've got a gnarly old pro like Gareth Batty, who's seen it all, played for England.
Well, of course, when Tom first came to the club, he was the talk of the town. If anyone would come up to him and try and pump his tyres up, he'd say, well, you just wait until you see my brother.
Yeah. Well, I remember there is Gareth Batty, the skipper of which I speak.
He must be enjoying life. You imagine coaching this squad.
Must be marvellous, mustn't it?
You can leave out an international 11 pretty much.
He's got that one through. It's the first run off Sam Curran. Well, last year, was it 23 players Surrey used in their pursuit of the championship? And they only used Dan Moriarty in the very last match. Didn't play a front-line spinner in the county championship till the last game of the season. Somehow marshalling all those different moving parts, so many players wanted by various franchises, various countries. It's an incredible job that Gareth Batty, the coaching staff, do, as well as Alex Stewart, who has to get all these players, the director of cricket.
All bold, block hole stuff.
Now, as you see there, or started to run, because the instincts of any batter are to run. When you hit the ball and there's a run on, you start to run. But as a runner, if you're wondering why you can't do that, if the batter is out of his crease, doesn't matter if his runner is in his crease. If the batter's out of his crease, he's out. So, Orr has to remember to stick behind that line. 32 for 1, 5 overs gone. It started well for Sussex. His first 3 overs going for 28, but overs 4 and 5 have just gone for the 4 runs. It's following a similar pattern to Phil Walker.
That it is.
Or his own innings.
That it is, exactly that. Ravi Bopara will be the next man in, you sense, coming off the back of an unbeaten 80-odd on Friday evening.
Am I going to have to bring a towel and wave it in your face the moment?
There he is, look.
Silken cover.
There he is, just warming up.
You okay?
Ready to roll. We'll have a wait
for the vapours.
Yeah, always go weak at the knees for him. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. It's another one. But this time, Alior's able to pick himself back up. Go again.
Groin botherers today, haven't we?
I wonder if it's slightly pitch-based, slightly too pace. This used pitch, of course. But Alior, as we said earlier, we hope he hasn't done himself a mischief coming off the back of this injury, but he's already had an effect on this game to get up to 20. A decent lick.
Oh,
you might want to add 4 more to that total. It was waiting for him. Tom Laws tried to maybe kid the batsman with a slowish bouncer. Alior was waiting for it on that rather buckled back leg, but he stayed in the shot. It's a lovely hit.
Well, the noise that made off the bat, it was the noise that makes you purr.
Short wide, got him, what a catch. Superb Laurie Evans at backward point. He's quite close in there as well. More of a deepish gully. That was hit pretty well by Alior, but he picked him out. We've seen some good ones today, Daniel Norcross.
We've seen some beauties, haven't we? One at backward point earlier today, and then this one by Laurie Evans. That went really fast. The proverbial tracer bullet, as Ravi Shastri would say. And Laurie Evans was able to go two-handed on this occasion and take what looked a strangely comfortable catch, but I can tell you in real time that really went off the bat. It's a wicket that Surrey needed so badly, because Orr, even on one leg, or maybe especially on one leg, was looking particularly dangerous. Yet again, it's the golden arm of Tom Laws. I think people are going to be in danger of slightly underestimating Tom Laws. I've seen quite a bit of him now in red ball and in white ball, and he's more than just a golden arm. Golden arm's somebody that you don't really rate them as a bowler particularly, but they come on and then they take wickets. Do you know what they do? They make things happen. The cliche.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit more than that.
He's much more than
a coincidence, isn't it?
He's much more than that. I think it's because he's not a particularly imposing figure physically, and so we maybe get lulled into thinking, here we go, Ravi Bopara is amongst us, folks. But we maybe get lulled into thinking that he's a sort of conventional medium pacer in the English mould, a bit of a slip of a lad, good fielder, good bat, and so on. He's much more than that. I was here for day 3 of the Kent Red Bull game, and he'd taken a couple the night before, but he was irresistible the morning after. Irresistible. Short wide, and a fresh air shot by Ravi Bopara, rather leaden-footed. A bit frustrated with himself there, Ravi.
But he never let Surrey down, as a thing, and He hasn't played that many first-class games, but he always has an impact.
Yeah, he came into the 50-over side back end of last summer and then broke into the Red Bull side after that. But that spell on the Saturday morning was sharp, it was challenging, Chris Wokesian, I suppose you'd say. But it wasn't that he was just exploiting a greenish pitch or anything like that. You know, he was befuddling good players. He got Crawley out, he got Billings out in that first spell, having cleared two of the others out the previous night. And it was a classic spell. It was the kind of spell that you remember for many, many months to come. A statement spell, really. I think he's much more than a squad player. I don't think you break into this side as a 21-year-old unless you've got something special about you.
Well, I was going to say, he's only 21, and Mark Church, the esteemed...
20.
20?
Correction, 20.
Esteemed radio broadcaster. My colleagues on many occasions. He bumped into Tom Sock's dad on the tube coming back from Lord's. And his dad says, you know, he's really enjoying it. He's really enjoying being in the dressing room. The Church said, you know, he's doing all right. He's not just there to have fun.
Yes, yeah, a bit more than that.
He's certainly a bit more than that. He's a very exciting young player. Now that
Sunil Narine, yeah, it's a good shout. You feel like the game is here. Sunil Narine to Ravi Bopara. Ravi will, you imagine, play quite quietly for the next few overs. That would be that's his way generally. He eases himself into an innings.
Oh, yes.
Not a man to be overburdened by the scorecard.
No, he's very much, you know, it's like he's gone to a nice 7-course tasting menu, isn't it? He begins with the amuse-bouche.
I'll have chicken for start.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good move to bring Narine on here. I feel that they're just going to try and squeeze over the next few overs, keep that run rate just tantalisingly out of reach. 110 to win, 13 and a half to go. They don't have a particularly intimidating middle order, Sussex. So you feel like if it's going to happen for them, it has to revolve around their skipper.
Well, Sunil Narine last year, you could absolutely guarantee was never going to go for more than 6 and 8. Usually somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5.
They've gone up, and he's given him. Bopara has to go for just 2, and it's drifted Narine style on the breeze, just away from Bopara, and he's played it with half a bat to try and angle it down behind square. The thinnest of edges, and Jamie Smith does not miss those. Bopara knew straight away, and he has to go. Huge moment in this cricket match.
It is a huge moment, and you know, I think Ravi will be a bit annoyed with himself there, because I think that was an example of him playing the match situation but not actually playing the ball.
Yeah.
He's said to himself, I'm going to take it easy, I'm not going to go too hard at Narine. He's the key bowler here, I've just got to make sure I'm in. And he's just looked to play a gentle push with an angled bat to get himself a single. Nothing, you know, to have the amuse-bouche. That's what he was after, when actually he might either have left that alone or climbed into it, because it was just wide enough for him to have a go at.
Neither one thing nor the other, that shot by Ravi Bopara, and suddenly Sussex, having cantered quite happily to 30 for no loss, are now 3 down.
It's very much the Bob Cunis of shots, that was. So brings George Garton to the crease at number 5.
Yeah, well, he hits a long ball, does George Garton, but as I say, they don't have a particularly threatening middle order, at least not on paper. Michael Burgess, on loan for Warwickshire, is a very, very fine player. Right again, doing his thing.
Now, one of the things that caught my eye, you mentioned their middle order, one of the things that caught my eye was I scooted further down past the middle order, and I saw that Timar Mills is carded at 9. That's never a good sign for any side. Timar, I've worked with him many times, he's a lovely man. He knows I don't mean that in an unpleasant way, but I don't know how many times Timar Mills has been at number 9 in a professional cricket team.
Yeah, his gifts lie elsewhere.
They do. They're prodigious.
Narine has started in classical fashion here. It's nicely played, though, to get himself off the mark by George Garton.
Well, this is exactly what Surrey needed after that explosive start. A couple of quick wickets. 2 relatively new batters at the crease. And Narine, you can see Narine bowling 4 overs here on the spin. Slip in place.
Nothing doing there. Pure class by the old master.
What is it about it, though? I ask this because I don't know how many balls of Sunil Narine I've watched. Many thousands, I think, by now. And it's something about you can't quite get underneath him.
Yep.
Something about, and this is impossible, by the way, what I'm about to say defies the laws of physics, so you know I don't actually mean it. But the ball seems to get quicker when it hits the ground. Obviously it can't because of friction, so don't at me. But he seems to befuddle people off the pitch, not through lateral movement, but actually through straight-on movement at him. People seldom time him unless they can get right to the pitch of the ball.
Will Jacks back into the attack. They'll squeeze a single out into the offside. 4th left-hander in the top 5 here for George Garton, and so it makes sense to bring the right arm off break bowler back into the attack. When I watch Narine, it seems to flutter on the breeze, and because he has that style where he opens up the fingers and he slightly adjusts depending. It's nicely played. He's not going to beat the man on the 45 on the offside, so just another single. He just pressures one side or the other with either his index finger or his middle finger, and that just enables the ball just to drift a little bit. He gets next to no lateral movement. He doesn't try and rip it. He doesn't try and spin it. Everything is sleight of hand with Sunil Narine. I remember I went away for a year and came back. I went travelling, Daniel, and I came back and wanted to rediscover my love for the game because I hadn't paid any attention to it. I was in South America and so on. I remember I watched an ODI. This would have been 8-9 years ago, and Sunil Narine was bowling to Australia at Jamaica, and he was untouchable. It's nicely played, but just a single to deep mid-wicket, and he was untouchable. Michael Hussey was playing, I remember, and various others, and no one could get near him, and he took 5 for 15 or something like that, doing something that looks to the naked eye like it's very straightforward, and yet there's something magical. There's a sort of alchemy about what he does that no one can quite understand or get on top of. And I remember that afternoon watching it because I thought, this is why I love the thing in the first place. There's the mystery, it's bewitching, and he, not exactly single-handedly, that's going down leg, but he certainly helped me rekindle my love for the game.
44 for 3, 8 overs gone.
So, as you know, Daniel, the Kia Oval is hosting its first Women's International since 2009 this summer, and tickets are on sale. We've already sold 11,000. So come and join. There's still time to make sure you're there on the night. You've got Surrey's young superstar, Alice Capsey. You've got greats of the game, Natalie Siver, Elisa Healy, Heather Knight, Tali McGrath, Elise Perry. Come down, tickets, listen to this. Tickets 24 for adults and £1 for kids. £1 for under 16s.
Look, there may be a housing crisis and a generational catastrophe, but for the time being, if you're 16 or under...
Reverse, nothing doing there. Brilliant again by Narine. He'd have seen the batsman trying to get funky and just thrown it outside the eye line. This has been superb by the overseas. July the 5th for that. Wednesday, July the 5th, England, Australia, T20, the evening. Get yourself along to the Kia Oval. Join the 11,000 who have already signed up for it. Going to run the first hard, but just a single.
I tell you, talking about women's cricket, there's become a bit of a cliche as well. We talk about how the 100 has been very successful for women's cricket in a way that perhaps it hasn't been quite so for the men's game.
It's a big hit, but again, picks out the man on the bounce. Just a single. They just cannot get going here.
And we talk about participation levels increasing, but you know, it's more than that. It's part of the structure now that I believe 3 of the 4 highest paid sportswomen in England. Cricketers, I tell you. After Emma Raducanu, it's cricketers, the likes of Sophie Eccleston, Helen Knight.
Well, Natalie Siver was the joint highest bidded for player in the recent
£320,000.
Yeah, the recent Women's Premier League. She earned every last cent of that as well. She was brilliant. This is into the gap, and it's going to beat the two men out on the onside. Much needed boundary. Tom Alsop staggers into double figures. It's not been easy for him, but with a target now under 100, they don't have to go two-man too soon.
Well, 50 up as well. 99 needed off 11. Nice easy calculation. 9 and over, and a rare boundary off Narine. He's played that really well. There are two fielders out there. But we say a lot here. Once that ball hits those practice pitches, it races away. Narine couldn't get round fast enough.
Yeah, he has played that well, because it was on off stump as well, and dipping and dripping as it does with Narine, and he's managed to get to the pitch and flick that one with strong bottom hand for a much needed boundary. 50 for 3.
Bringing the changes here, Sam Curran.
Bring himself back into the attack. First over from J.M. Finn. Punched hard down the ground. Well stopped by Dan Worrell, who's thrown himself headlong at that one. Kept it down to a single. That would have run away probably for 4.
That's great commitment, isn't it, from the big old fast bowler?
And it has to be, when you're defending something relatively paltry as 148. Yeah, bowling to his field again, Samuel Curran. He's got an incredible game sense, this boy. I say a boy, he's been around for years now.
He's captained his IPL team, he's captained Surrey. As you say, we're a week shy of his 25th birthday.
I wonder if he may yet feature in the Test side conversation for this summer if Ben Stokes' knee does not improve.
Well, it's amazing that he hasn't, isn't it? Since
I think
he was
so.
Man of the series.
I think so.
India, at the age of 20. He's also got a very strange distinction, which I discovered thank you to Andrew Sampson.
Right.
So on his 20th birthday, 5 years ago, that would be, he was out for 20 in a Test match at Headingley. And I was on commentary at the time, and I posed the question, as you do when you're on Test match commentary, there's a lot of time to fill. I turned to Andrew Sampson and said, how many times has somebody been out for their age on their birth, for the same number of runs on their birthday as their age?
That'll be wided, I think.
And the great man gave me a look that was somewhere between contempt and hatred, as you can imagine, because he knew that meant work.
Yeah, he doesn't need that at that point.
No, not really. But in fairness to him, he stayed up till about 3 in the morning. Came in the next day, looked very, very weary. And I knew he'd not been on the sauce, because that's not really Andrew Sampson's style.
Clothed into the onside for a single.
And he revealed that, quite surprisingly to me, you know, only 2 cricketers in the history of Test cricket have been out for their age on their birthday. Sam Curran is one.
And?
Well, this is one for the kids. Jeff Puller.
Right.
Who was out for 26 on his 26th birthday.
How does one find that out?
Well,
what kind of magics do you have to...
Talk about the magic of Narine.
Oh, I think he may have rammed that one into his grill. George Garton is struggling a little bit out there.
He's taken it. I think he might have taken that on the mush. And it's all very well giving the thumbs up sign to the umpire, but, you know, when he has, I'm afraid the umpire, like it or not, ordinarily in this situation, has to ask for someone to come on. Now, he isn't, and that is unusual. Doesn't really matter, even if it's a very glancing blow off a spinner. The moment that ball hits a helmet, ordinarily you'd see the physio come on. So I don't know what's happened there.
Perhaps it was the bottom part of the grill.
Does that make a difference?
It shouldn't, but perhaps it does. Yeah, he's just not got going yet. Surprised you don't see that more with the ramp shot. Ramping it right up into your mush.
That's one of the reasons why I've never practiced it, because I assumed that that's exactly what I would do. Yeah, they were halfway through. I thought, oh, I don't know, maybe it just got the collarbone and slid up to the underneath. I was at a tournament out in Hong Kong, fair break tournament, when Lauren Winfield Hill played a massively similar shot, and it went off the top edge right into the chin. Because it avoided the grill, it managed to get right at that point of the chin. Really horrible.
Got him. Sunil Narine is having a day out here. Mercifully, really, George Garton's innings, his pained innings is done. Sunil Narine is a masterclass. You've seen him coming. Thrown it outside the eye line again. And Jamie Smith's having a good game behind the stumps. Picked up a tidy catch to get rid of Power, and there's a fine stumping. Suddenly, Sussex is struggling here. 4 down now for 56 and going nowhere fast.
It's such skillful bowling, this from Narine, because I can't tell you how difficult that skill is. That he's seen Garden coming. You might have seen him coming a little bit earlier, but then you've got to adjust what it is that you were thinking of bowling at the last minute and get that wide enough to hopefully not be so wide that it's a wide, because you don't want to concede the run. And you've got to do that in a split second. The moment you see or you sense that Garton's coming at you. It was neat keeping from Smith as well. But Sunil Narine having top score with a bat earlier today. Well, it's 2 for 9 in 2.1. And if Surrey go on to win this game, they will almost certainly have him to thank. 56 for 4 after a really good start. First wicket partnership putting on 29 after 3.4 overs. Sussex are 29 for none. In the next 6.2, they've lost 4 for 27. Which tells you what a stranglehold Surrey have currently got in the game. New batter is Burgess. New loan signing, keeper bat. Perfectly capable batter, but as that required run rate starts to creep ever upwards, 9.62 once it gets to 10. It's awkward once it gets to 12, 2 a ball. 2 a ball is now the sort of mid-80s 1 a ball. This could be tight. Direct hit. Leg by signal. I don't suppose we'll ever get to a point where 2 a ball becomes 3 a ball. I don't suppose. There has to be an end to this kind of inflation at some point, Phil.
Don't, Daniel. We're having a nice afternoon.
We're having a lovely afternoon, aren't we? Glorious summer's day. Oh, goes for the reverse. Polite inquiry from Jamie Smith, but Allsop was back in his crease. Now, Allsop's a key wicket here now for Surrey and for Sussex, of course. Because you mentioned they don't have the strongest middle order, and they've got Tim Mills coming in at 9. So a couple more wickets here. Really would be a big trouble. That's fantastic bowling from Narine again. Allsop can barely lay a bat on it. He's not yet conceded 10 runs. He's bowled 17 balls, Narine. Very nearly got his man there. Back foot lifted. Can't get the last ball away either. Terrific over from Narine. Wicket in there as well. Sussex 57 for 4 after 11. I thought that 149 was a pretty skinny target at the moment. It's looking quite a long way away. 92 more needed to win from just 9 overs. And Surrey, you'd have to say here, very much on top.
I've really enjoyed this. I've watched a lot of the IPL in the last couple of months. It's still raining, by the way.
Is it?
Well, the rain stopped, but the covers are just coming off now, soaked outfield. Anyway, and the balance between bat and ball becomes increasingly hard to decipher, and it becomes a little bit tiresome after a while, arguably. Here, it's been a fascinating contest, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can take the pace off.
Cameron Steele coming on, and this is a very, very key moment in the game here. Surrey, strictly speaking, don't need to use 6 bowlers. They could use just the 5 bowlers they've already used, but If Steele can burgle a couple of overs here, it gives Curran so many options at the back end of the innings. It's been carved away. It'll just be the single, though.
But it's not just been a stodgy track where you get your slowies out there. We saw with Tamal Mills, we saw as well with George Garton that pace on the ball, and also with Dan Worrell, who was superb early up top. You've seen that the pitch offers a little bit for everybody. The batters collectively, 14 wickets have gone down. They've probably underperformed collectively. You know, there's been a couple of 20s, 320s across the course of the game. Not enough, really. It's not really been the pitch's fault at all. Just quality.
Oh, it's just gone. Fielder underneath it, and it sails over his head. It's Laurie Evans down here at long on.
And most importantly, the ball has been grasped again in the bleachers. Yeah.
Did you spot that?
Yeah, afraid so.
Take a look at this replay. Really good use of the feet from Allsop. Gets more than enough on it. That was a very, very catchable chance. Dear oh, dear oh.
No one wanted it, Dan.
No, well, they've let themselves down. They've let their families down. They've let the club down. But this is a danger for Sam Curran here, using Cameron Steele. It's a tough ask for Steele at this stage in the innings. With the Sussex players coming at you, but been too much damage. That's 6, yes, but there's another couple of runs off this over. He's going to go for the reverse. Can't beat the fielder. It's a good comeback from Steele. 7 runs off this over so far, with 1 ball left. Sussex started it needing over 10 and over. This would count as a win if you can get out of this with just a single or a couple of runs off the last ball. That will work very nicely for Sam Curran. Thank you very much. Goes again, swings and misses. So handy over, 12 overs gone. Sussex 64 for 4.
It's countdown cricket, a brand new way for us to play this summer. To bowl, bat and field, to be confident and take our chances. And always having fun. This is our game.
So Sussex 64 for 4, being watched by the denizens of the new Galadari stand. I say new, it's been up there for a few years now. It's a wonderful view up there, where you can see them all cradling their pints. When Old Trafford got themselves some new kit, the Point, which is, to my mind, one of the most brutal, unnecessary, ridiculous red boxes ever put at a cricket ground. I mean, it's...
Are you doing the test match up there this year?
Yeah. But for SEN.
Yes,
that won't count. Law's back in the attack. And I love Old Trafford, but it really is, you know, it's a crime against architectural humanity. It's a big red box. But it did provide me with one of the funniest things I've ever been able to commentate on, which was a lady in a wonderful white trouser suit. She was having, obviously, some corporate hospitality, I think. She had a glass of what looked like a very thick red wine. I want to say Shiraz, it felt full-bodied.
Gotcha.
And it was a big old glass as well. It wasn't just a little one, just a tiny little plastic tumbler. No, no, no. It's a proper, great big 275ml glass. That's thrashed away for just a single. I think it was Joss Butler.
Yep.
The ball, take the point. She was chatting to someone else. Ball struck glass. Red wine everywhere. Looked like a scene from a Sam Peckinpah movie.
So ball straight to glass on the full.
Ball straight to glass on the full. Superb.
He's meant that, hasn't he, Butler?
Yep. I wouldn't put it past him. You know my feelings on Joss Butler. The man's a genius. He may well have spotted it.
You feel like it's Tom Allsop or bust here, don't you?
You do. You do very much. He feels like he's the game.
Yeah. He's coming on the back of some decent form in red ball cricket. Made a big unbeaten 100 against Leicester in early May.
And there's an awful lot of pressure on him right now, because these are overs, with the greatest respect to Cameron Steele, and to Tom Laws, but they wouldn't necessarily be your front-line T20 bowlers. At the moment, Sam Curran's got 2 overs of himself, and he's got 2 overs of Dan Worrell up his sleeve, and he's got an over of Sunil Narine. So there's 5 overs for you already. All of which are going to be tough to target. So you fancy that these overs here from Laws, from Steele, maybe another one from possibly Will Jacks, they are the ones that Sussex are going to have to go after. And this over so far from Laws has been great for Surrey. The run rate ticks ever northward. It's beyond 11 now. Just going to pick up a single off the last ball of that over, so 69 for 4 with 13 gone. That means 80 runs needed to win. Plus 42 balls. It's getting ever closer to 2 of all. What have you been spotting?
Well, I've just been going through their bowling options as you describe them, and wondering if there's an element of Surrey aping the way that Ben Stokes' England side go about their business, that they put players in positions that they're not necessarily used to see how they're going to react to them. And because Surrey have such an extraordinary squad, this embarrassment of riches, that they can leave out a player who's made a record-breaking 100 48 hours later. I wonder if they're doing this with the likes of Tom Laws as well, seeing how they go.
Ryan's last over, and that's expertly played. First ball runs away for 4. Really nice shot by Burgess. Not the easiest shot to execute at all. Just a little bit of pressure now on Narine at the start of the over. 4 off the first ball. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. Not at all. Not at all.
Or at least Burgess did, rather rudely.
They remind me, and there's no ill-gotten gains here, but they do remind me of Manchester City, that they have different versions of themselves for different situations, all of which remains broadly unbeatable. And they have so many different identities now, this club. You know, it is extraordinary, really. Well, and,
yes.
and all the more so when you think that they haven't won this thing for 20 years.
No.
It was these 2 clubs that contested the final.
Well, last year's loss in the quarter-final is still my unhappiest moment of last year.
Yeah.
It coincided. It happened to be an extraordinary day. So, I don't think that's got anything on it, actually. Just wait and see the umpire signal. There's a little bit of top edge, possibly onto face. Yes, it was the same day that former Prime Minister Boris Johnson retired. Retired? Resigned.
Was retired.
Was retired, yes. Was retired. Was pulled out of the firing line.
So I guess it would have been a day of mixed emotions, Daniel, for you.
No, I don't like to get too heavily into politics.
No, sure.
But you can say that whilst my eye had been on one news story for quite a while, and its denouement I thought was going to take my attention, I was rudely dragged away by Surrey's eviction from T20 Blast, and it was a game that Surrey were well on top of. And so
they needed, what, five from the last over, I think it was?
They will want to make amends. Sunil Narine was there at the time, of course. He was out, caught in the deep.
Yep.
Jamie Overton was out there. And Surrey would be desperate to get to finals day and lift this trophy, because they know they're good enough. As Narine's last delivery yields a single, so 9 off the over. His first 3 went for just the 9. That over's gone for 9. Looks expensive, but when you bear in mind what Sussex require here at the moment, it's below the asking rate. They still need another 71. And they've only got 36 balls left to do them in. That rate's getting up to 2 a ball. They do have wickets in hand, but do they have much firepower left? This partnership is going to be key. Phil alongside me.
Yeah, that's the one thing in their favour, that they've seen off the great Sunil Narine now, so he's done for the day. The problem that they have is that there are no weak links in this attack, and as you say, there is a slightly threadbare feel about the middle to lower order. Dan Worrell back into the attack now. He bowled brilliantly up top. 2 overs, 1 for 4. You take that in any cricket, anywhere.
This is interesting. I wondered if he was going to leave the last 4 overs to himself and Worrell, but no, he's decided not to do that.
And again, I wonder if it's because they're wanting to put Tom Laws in positions that challenge him, that take him out of his comfort zone a little bit. See how he copes with the pressure.
Well, why not? So far, he's stood up terrifically well to whatever's been asked of him. And you fancy that it will be that. Would you hope the last 6 overs probably going to be split between Worrell, Curran and Laws?
You would think so.
Slow ball chopped away. This could be 4. It is. Really good placement from Burgess. Just finding that gap to the left of extra cover. There is a fielder out on the boundary on the Archbishop Tennyson's side, but he had about 15 yards to make, maybe 20 yards. Couldn't get round. Jordan Clark, who we haven't seen with the ball.
No, indeed. This is the way they do it.
Now, where's this gone? That's, wow. Oh. Now, is that 6? That has landed on the rope. I think that's landed on the rope. That's a really tough one, but it's been given. What a shot that is from Burgess. Giving himself some room. It was short. He made it wider. And, you know, we don't have the boundary sponges here, the Toblerones you might see, but that has landed slap bang on top of the rope in the estimation of the umpire. And if it hits on top of the rope, then it's deemed beyond the rope, if you like. So 6 and a 4 in this over. Worrell's going to have to field that himself. Ooh. And you get back for 2. One of the most extraordinary things, isn't it? That ball couldn't have been more than about 15 yards away from Worrell. And
comfortable too.
Comfortable too, even though we know a pitch is 22 yards long. Now, obviously, you take a little bit off for the creases, but still, they get home. So, this has been an expensive over so far from Worrell. His first 2 went for just 4 runs. The first 4 balls have gone for 14. And Sussex are right back in this. Surrey need to break this partnership and break it quickly. Forehand smash out to deep mid-wicket. Just the single.
Shot of the day for me, that 6 over backward point. It was a carve, but it was also right out of the screws as well, and it was a cleverly conceived shot. Gave himself a bit of room. I think he anticipated it was going to be shortish at the body, and he's hit it clean. He's a really good player, Burgess. I was quite surprised to see that he wasn't getting a gig in the T20 side for Warwickshire, but I guess they have Alex Davis up there. But he's an excellent cricketer.
Now then, this could well be 4 more, and it's going to be. Really inventive stuff from Allsop. So, a very expensive over from Dan Worrell. 19 coming from it. And Sussex, who needed at the start of that over near as 2 a ball. Now, that rates down to 10.4 with 2 batters at the crease, with Narine bowled out. And that means there will be pressure on Tom Laws and Sam Curran here, coming at the last 5 overs.
Yes, indeed. Michael Burgess has changed the complexion of this chase completely. He came in with Sussex down in the dumps, 56 for 4 and going nowhere. Tom Allsop's played a quiet, lone hand at first drop, 26 from 30, but Michael Burgess has come in and timed it better than anyone else today, really. 26 from 16 with 2 4s and that stunning 6 off the back foot over backward point. Sam Curran, as predicted, in for the death. That's hit hard into the gap. That'll be 4.
That is such a good shot. Because the way the field has been placed, there was only one area you could hit that ball and guarantee it was going to be 4, and it had to be about a yard to the right of extra cover, and that is exactly where he's hit it. Because there's a perfectly placed long off, a little bit wide, got the extra cover, and there's a deep cover well in front of square. It was a slower ball into the pitch, and now the last 7 balls have yielded 23 runs here for Sussex.
Giving himself room again, just the single this time. just a tick over 10 runs per over required. This could well go down right to the wire. James Coles is a good, promising young all-rounder, but relatively raw in next, you would think. Finn Hudson-Prentice hits a long ball at number 8, and as you say, it's a longish tail with Tamal at number 9. Have to bowl that one again.
No, I don't think so. You know, I think the umpire has given Curran the benefit of the doubt there, because Alsop's moved quite a long way across his stumps. We'll take another look at that on here. So he starts.
He's got away with one there, Sam Curran.
Well, if he was standing in his crease, that would have thudded into his pad.
It should still be a wide, Daniel, as well, you know.
This one eye here says that's a perfectly good decision.
Curran in again. Block hole. That's what he does so well at this point. Nerveless cricketer is Sam Curran. Still, the single is not too bad at this point. Gets Burgess back on strike. He's moved on to 31. Alsop is 27.
You think what he's seen, Sam Curran, at the age of 25. You know, he was probably England's most important player in a World T20 winning campaign. He's been a Test match man of the series against India. He's not yet 25. He's played IPL, lots and lots of it.
Oh. That's 4 more. That is beautifully played. He's waited for it. It's full enough just to squeeze behind square with an open face. He's playing an absolute gem here. The first player to get into the 30s so far in this innings. And Michael Burgess is changing the complexion of this innings completely.
First player in the 30s in the match. He's gone past Sunil Narine's 29. And he started a little slowly, but my word, he has taken off in the last 5 minutes.
Dot ball to finish. Sam Curran gets out of the over. But I tell you what, we've got a good one here. 107 for 4. Upon us, Daniel.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, same here. Do you have a greater attachment to it this year than other years for some reason, or not? Is it the same for you every time?
I think it's the same every time, and just that on this occasion, there's a sense that it could be a truly incredible series, because Australia are a very, very good side, and England are playing in such an exceptionally weird way that appears to be hugely successful. So I guess there's slightly more technical intrigue, actually, than there normally is. The last Ashes series, I thought, was between two pretty well-matched sides.
The one over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all the series that have taken place in England, Australia have yet to win a series in England since 2001, have been quite well matched.
It's going to be Tom Laws. It's hit hard into the gap, and that will run away for 4. It's a huge moment, first ball of the 17th, and that's exactly what they need. Tom Alsop now joins Burgess in the 30s. Tom Laws on the back foot suddenly.
Well, this has been a really terrific partnership between these two, and Surrey need to break it. They need to break it very quickly indeed. It's a big ask for Tom Laws. Going for 4 off his first ball. There is protection for him out there on that leg side boundary.
It's close. And the umpire says no.
Well, do you know, I think Tom Laws was so convinced that was out. He didn't quite run through in his follow-through there. I'd love to see that again, because that was...
All I can think, maybe pitched outside, but it looked very full to us. Oh,
absolutely plumb. Absolutely plumb.
Daniel...
Does he think there's bat on that? If he's given that as a leg by... Oh, I don't think he's going to want to look at that again. Because that's hit him on the ankle, back in his stumps, in front of middle.
And Tom Laws is gesturing to one of his fielders, as if to say, what is that missing then? But anyway, we move on.
Well, they have to move on. That should have been the breakthrough, you fancy.
Short and wide. And a fresh air shot.
What it shouldn't do is detract from what a terrific bit of bowling it was.
Indeed. He's come back well here after that first ball went through mid-wicket. So 37 needed from 21. This is anybody's game. Tom Laws in again. In at the body. Flacked into the onside. 3 men, of course, on the boundary. They're coming back for 2, and they've done it quite well. They're quite comfortably in the end. Chance of buzzers? No. No, they'll settle for the 2.
There are about 4 fielders backing up there.
Yeah.
So it looks to me that Laws is going to have to bowl. There's 1 more from Worrell, there's 1 more from Curran, and after this will be 1 more from Laws. So is Laws bowling the 19th over?
Be all important. It's important over in an innings. Oh, that's going to run away for 4. Just past leg stump. The old proverbial Rizzler paper. He's just got away with it though, Michael Burgess. It feels like it's leaning towards him here.
Well, he's earned that bit of good fortune because he's batted really, really well for Sussex here. He's got them out of a horrible hole, put them in with a really good chance of victory, but you've got to feel for Tom Laws in this over. So he feels he should have had Allsop out. He so nearly got Burgess out. Somehow he's conceded 9 runs of this over.
He's in again, well bowled, block hole, clothed up to long on for a single.
That was a really, really good over from Tom Laws, and he's utterly luckless there. So 30 to win off 3, easy for us. But how does Sam Curran arrange his bowlers here? Now the prevailing logic is that if you have 3 bowlers and 2 of them are very experienced, in the case of Worrell and Curran, and 1 is inexperienced in the case of Laws, that you save the inexperienced bowler to the last over and try and ratchet up as many runs for him to play with. But
I'm not sure that's how they do things.
I'm not sure how they do things. I think you're right. I think they want to put Laws under that pressure, and also they might think that Laws looks pretty comfortable at the pavilion end and wants to bowl at that end. So I think Laws may well end up having to bowl the crucial 19th over. This, every over at this point, every ball from this stage, even in T20s, not just in the 100, you know, every ball counts.
Right, so it's going to be Worrell then for the 18th over, which means that Curran will almost certainly take the final over from the JM Finn end, and this game is absolutely perfectly poised. Oof. They're going to try and squeeze a single out, and they're going to do it. They're going to do it fine.
Well, yeah, they're going to run for pretty much anything here. Worrell is jogging back to his mark because the cut-off time is 5:21. It's past 5. They should be all right because the cut-off time is when the last over has to start. That's correct, isn't it?
Indeed. I think they should be okay, you would think.
But they want a bit of thinking time here.
Big over this. Dan Worrell went for 4 from his first 2 and then 19 from his third.
So there are 4 fielders out the boundary on the leg side here. Long leg all the way around to long on. 4 in the ring on the offside and the cover, deep cover.
That's it, hard and long and all the way. Tom Allsop has climbed into Daniel Worrell, and in the long boundary out towards deep mid-wicket, he's cleared the rope, cleared those 4 fielders waiting for the catch. That has stayed hit. He's done this very well. Quiet start by Tom Allsop, but he's really grown into his innings, and he's climbed into that short one. Going to run the first one hard. They're going to settle for the single. Right move. Meanwhile, I've got myself tangled up here somewhat, Daniel.
You have got yourself tangled up. Yeah, Surrey will argue that he probably shouldn't be out there because they'll feel that Tom Laws had him LBW at the start of the previous over. But he is there and he's playing a magnificent knot. Allsop 39, Burgess 42. no one's really been able to play a consistent innings today, except these two.
Well, in again. Dot ball. Big moments. 22 from 14 now.
Yep, you'd have to say, balance of power has shifted massively towards Sussex now. It ought to be theirs to win. This is a 5th wicket partnership, isn't it? Well, Sussex's highest 5th wicket partnership against Surrey is 76. They've currently put on 71.
Worrell in again. In the slot. That is immense. Imperious stuff by Michael Burgess, who has stolen the show this afternoon. That is one of the biggest hits we've seen this season. Majestic hitting.
That is huge. That wasn't far from getting right up onto the 2nd tier. That is a big hit. To get onto the 2nd tier in the JM Finn stand takes some doing. It wasn't a million miles from us here, and that is now Sussex's highest 5th wicket partnership against Surrey in T20 cricket.
They were slumped at 56 for 4 when these two came together. Oh, and it's been taken by the substitute, Barnwell. What a catch. That would have gone quickly. He's held his nerve, the sub, on for Jamie Overton. Nathan Barnwell has taken a good catch there. And does this game shift and twist and change again, Daniel Norcross?
Well, a yard either side, and then the game is virtually Sussex's.
Yep.
There have been 12 needed off 2 overs, with 2 players going well. Instead, he scooped it, and it's a really sharp catch. He hadn't had too long to think about that. Flew at him around about throat height. You can see there Burgess practicing the shot he meant to play. It is a terrific knock, though, nonetheless. It'll probably still be a match-winning knock, but there could yet be a twist in the tail. 16 needed from 12 balls. And a new batter coming to the crease. We saw now Surrey, their last 2 overs yielded just, what was it, 3 runs in the end. They went into the 19th over at 145 for 6. 12 runs ahead of where Sussex are now. They only managed to score 3 runs off those last 2 overs, getting bowled out. I wondered at the time if that was going to be the difference between the 2 sides, but, well, we were asking earlier, who's going to bowl the 19th over? Is it going to be Laws? I think Sam Curran's decided, hang on, we've got that wicket here. If I can just get rid of Allsop as well, we're right back in it. So he's going to bowl the 19th over. Laws, you imagine, will bowl the last if it goes that far.
Here's the game. Tom Allsop on 39. He's going to run hard. Oh, that would have been gone for all money. Laurie Evans at mid-off, shied at the stumps, picked up clean, shied at the stumps, and just missed. Clattered into the batter as well as he's running through to the non-strikers. He's just pulling himself up now.
Oh, I think has he taken out the ankle?
I think he may well have done.
Yes, he has. In trying to get out of the way.
Big moment that. Because if he'd knocked out those stumps, he was nowhere in the frame, and that would have changed the game yet again, as it is. 11 balls left, 15 needed, and the new man, young lad, James Coles, is in.
Yeah, there's a bit of a change in the field here. Going to this old field here. 4 on the boundary on the leg side, so an easy single for Coles if he wants it. 4 in the ring on the offside, and a deep cover who's really just about 4 or 5 yards in front of square.
He's played that nicely. Just settled for one, you'd have thought. Turns, yeah, back into his ground. Nothing silly. Just his second T20 game, a professional T20 game, just 19 years young, James Coles, just making his way in the game. What price pressure here?
14 off 10. Still, Sussex on top, but still. A wicket for Curran here if he can get Allsop. Scales will shift.
who's in the slot, lost his shape, but they will scamper one, and they'll come back for two and make it comfortably.
Yep, well, occasionally the miss hit is exactly perfect, isn't it? On this occasion, that's what happened. If he got just that little bit more in it, it would have gone straight out to deep mid-wicket. And then I just got the single.
12 from 9. What a game we've seen.
It's been fantastic, hasn't it? Low-scoring thriller, mid-scoring thriller.
He's it again, Sam Curran. Makes room. That's got to be given. Oh, he's on his hands and knees, Sam Curran. He cannot believe that LBW has not been...
See the umpire signal?
He's suggesting he may have got a little bit of bat on it.
Let's take a look at this. Oh. No, I mean, if he's got a bat on that, I'd be surprised.
It's a charitable judgment there, Daniel.
Well, it's the second time, and it's the same umpire on each occasion.
Well, the upshot...
He believes there's a bit of bat on that.
The upshot is it's a single to Tom Alsop. And now the equation 11 from 8. Short, sharp, fresh air. Very, very good by Sam Curran. Comes alive for these moments.
Well, they started this over with Sussex needed 16 from it. They've managed to get 5 off the first 5 balls. Surrey are taking this to the last over, there's no doubt. They'll feel aggrieved because the one man they really want to get out, Alsop, they think they've got him twice now. But the umpire's not agreed. The ball was clearly going on to hit the stumps. The question was there just a little bit of bat on that? And it's impossible for us to tell from here.
That's in the gap, it's going to drop short. They'll just settle for the single. So, 10 to win, 1 over to bowl. Do they give it to Tom Laws?
They've got to, haven't they?
You would imagine so.
Looking at those options there, it's not going to be Jordan Clark, I wouldn't have thought, to bowl his first over of the match. It is going to be Tom Laws.
It is Tom Laws.
Well, what a great opportunity for him here. And that's what they'll be reminding him. They'll be saying to him, you can win us this game here. Now 10 off the last over with 5 wickets in hand. The balance there is slightly in favour of the batting side, but a dot ball first ball or a wicket first ball, new bat comes in, and suddenly things look very different. There's quite a long conflab here. Surrey have managed to get in just inside the cut-off time. Cut-off time is 5:21. This over's going to start at 5:20. They've got a short third, who's really very fine. Well, now, I say that, he's moving. They're deciding to have a long leg. Looks like it. Point is coming up inside the ring. It's a deep point. Mid-off is coming up inside the ring. Interesting. And a short third. So 4 in the ring on the offside, and this field we've seen of a bit today from Sam Curran. 4 out on the boundary on the leg side. Here we go.
It's the teenager James Coles to face. He's going to turn the strike over. No bad thing for Sussex.
Yep, they get the established batter back on strike.
It's 9 for 5.
Surrey won't mind too much either because it's just the single. What they really want here is either the wicket of Alsop or a single. From 5 and a single, 8 off 4, and then puts big pressure on Coles.
Does Alsop try and give himself room to carve it behind square on the offside? You imagine it would be full.
It's the same field, basically mirrored here. Barnwell's just been telling you a little bit wider. He was a bit fine there at fine leg. Now he's moved to a more conventional long leg. It's a sort of mirror field to the left-hander. 4 in the ring on the off, 4 out the boundary on the leg side.
He's hit that well. It's not going to make the boundary, I don't think. But they'll come back for 2, and they will essay a third as well. Good running. Slightly untidy by Jordan Clark on the boundary there. Probably gave 1 away
Well, I feel for him there, because what's happened is he's basically hurled himself at the ball and then lost his balance here, so slightly. Look here, he's trying to get up. I forgive him for that. He's a big unit.
It does mean that the young lad is back on strike, James Coles.
6 off 4. Dot ball required from Surrey here, or better still, a wicket.
You see that well, but straight to the man, so just a single. Sussex will take that, I think.
Yeah, now this is a really important delivery here. 5 off 3. If this ball's only going for a single, it'll bring Coles on strike with 4 needed off 2.
Same field as it was. Tom Laws to bowl round the wicket, so to cramp the lefty for room. Hence why they have 2 men up on the offside. We'll be trying to arrow in on that, the base of that off stump. If the angle drifts into the pads and he's got cover across the expanse of the onside. Here it comes. He's hit that hard, flat, 1 bounce 4. Superb. Tom Alsop scores are level.
Well, that is a magnificent shot. It's been a great innings. It's also brought up his 50. A really superb knock from Alsop. Yeah, Surrey fans will say he should probably been out twice, LBW, but don't take anything away from what a knock this has been. When he came in, Sussex were in all sorts of bother. He and Burgess have batted magnificently together. And now, barring not exactly a miracle, but needing 1 off 2 balls, Sussex are going to scrape home. Surrey will be ruining the back end of their own innings, where they just added 10 runs or so in that last couple of overs. But it wasn't to be.
That is exactly it, Daniel. They will be kicking themselves because they let it slip. They lost 4 wickets in 2 overs, the back end of their own innings.
Well, they left 3 balls unused, didn't they? Which, as Richie Beno would have said, is pretty criminal. But look, you've got to hand it to Sussex here. They're depleted. They're missing their 2 overseas players. And they need 1 to win, 2 balls to go.
Tom Laws is in. He's hit it into the onside, and there it is. That is a famous win. Superb by Sussex. They came here with little form, a depleted side, shorn of their 2 overseas players, and they've beaten the best side in the land here. They fielded and bowled out of their skins to restrict Surrey to 148. And then, after hobbling to 56 for 4, a brilliant partnership between Tom Alsop and Michael Burgess got them all the way to the finishing line. And then a touch of class by Tom Alsop, who's really developing into a very fine cricketer for Sussex, got the job done in the final over.
Hats off to them, really, to come to the Oval, a place they don't usually win. It's only their 2nd win against Surrey in the last 10 meetings in T20s. Vitality Blast T20s, and they've come here, as you said, Phil, with a depleted side. Their 2 overseas players unavailable, and they bowled, well, they bowled magnificently, really. Timal Mills was superb, Ravi Bopara was superb, brilliantly captained. Sussex were today. Surrey will rue the fact that they just didn't get as many runs as they should have done. Their back end of their innings, their last 8 overs, they fell away badly. They were on course for 170. They should have made it to 160 without too much bother, which you think would have probably proved just a little too much for Sussex. And at 56 for 4, well, Surrey had virtually got the job done, but Alsop and Burgess had other ideas. It was a terrific partnership in front of a sporting crowd that recognises that they've seen a very tenacious display from Sussex. Sussex are perennial favourites, it's got to be said, in T20 Plus. They've got a magnificent pedigree, but today the side was not a classic Sussex side, but they pulled together really, really well, worked really well as a team, been brilliantly led. And they've come out, you'd have to say, deserving winners in the end, in a really tight, exciting game.
Yeah, I would say so. Just a quick run through the order. Tom Clark went for 9 from 12, caught Jacks, bowled Worrell. Ali Orr played nicely on 1 leg, having injured himself earlier in the piece. And as you run through the card, it was Michael Burgess's knock, 48 from 28 balls. That was the innings of the day. Tom Alsop held his nerve to get the game done just with a ball to spare. Ashleigh, it's over to you.
Well, Surrey's winning run comes to an end. What a game we've had this afternoon at the Kia Oval. Sussex just put in a real shift. They came out the winners. They got their first win of the season underway, and Surrey will go back to the drawing board ahead of their game against Hampshire on Wednesday. Well, it's been great to have your company. It's a shame about the result, but you know, there always has to be one winner, and a huge credit to Sussex because they chose to bowl. They opted to bowl after winning the toss. They bowled out of their skin and they came away with a really impressive win here away from home. Now let's take a look at the highlights from the second innings.
Sussex were chasing 148 and they started nicely with Ali Orr, who'd injured himself earlier in the piece, but he manfully carried on, started tidily, opened himself up against Will Jacks in particular through the offside. He's a very fine young player, and he just brought a bit of impetus to the innings early on, which is exactly what they needed. You could see how much he was struggling with that injury. Each shot would elicit a shriek of pain, but he got through it to register a couple of maximums against Will Jacks. And with Tom Clark quietly going about his business at the other end, Sussex got up to 29 for no loss before Clark picked out Will Jacks in the covers off Dan Worrell. And from that moment on, Sussex's innings stagnated somewhat. Ali Orr again through the onside this time, showing his full range of shot. Despite that injury, he made 24 from 15 before he hit one hard and flat to backward point, and a superb catch by Laurie Evans off the bowling of Tom Laws. So with Orr's wicket, Sussex were 36 for 2, and it brought out Ravi Bopara, who'd been so brilliant with the ball earlier on in the piece, but he wasn't really at the races. Sunil Narine, who bowled a fabulous spell in the middle overs, dispatched the Sussex skipper, and at that point 3 for 39 in the 7th. You felt like Surrey were beginning to twist the knife. Tom Alsop started slowly but grew into his work. George Garton came in at number 5 to try and support him, but the bowling all-rounder didn't really get going too much, in truth. And when Carton ran past Sunil Narine to be stumped very tightly by Jamie Smith, who had another good day behind the stumps, Sussex were going nowhere fast. 56 for 4 they were at that point in the 11th over. And one felt that it was now or never. Tom Alsop, who'd been quite contained, quite self-contained, opened up his shoulders, and against the leg spin of Cameron Steele, began to really express himself. That shot over long on broke the shackles somewhat of the innings and freed up Alsop. But it was really Michael Burgess, on loan from Warwickshire, a Sussex Academy player as well, who really changed the complexion and the course of this innings. Opened up his shoulders on the offside in particular. That shot was possibly the shot of the day. And he showed a range of shot and a creativity that had been hitherto not really evident across the 2 innings. His knock was probably the innings of the day, and it enabled Tom Alsop to enjoy himself in his slipstream. Alsop's 2 sixes got him going into his knock. And that from Michael Burgess almost iced the game. At that point, Sussex were almost home and hosed, needing just 16 from 2 overs. But on 48, Michael Burgess was caught superbly at backward point by the sub, Nathan Barnwell. either side of the sub, that would have been the game done and dusted. And at that point we wondered, was there another twist in the tail? It brought out the teenager, James Coles, just 19 years old, in just his second T20 game. And with Allsop at the other end, playing brilliantly, the young lad just let him go. That was the key shot. Tom Laws with the last over of the innings in the slot. And Tom Allsop did what he had to do. He brought it up beautifully through the onside from the penultimate delivery of the innings. It's been one hell of a heist here by Sussex with a depleted side. They win by 5 wickets.
Well, I'm joined by Daniel Norcross. Daniel, you know, we love a tight fixture, but not when you're not on the winning side of it.
Well, no, we don't, do we? Because we expect Surrey to win that, probably. On paper, they've got a stronger side. Sussex had come here with terrible misfortune. You know, they'd lost both overseas players in that collision the other day, McAndrew, Shadab Khan. And I think Surrey will look back on that game and think, well, they threw it away a little bit towards the back end of their own innings. Only scored 3 runs in the last 2 overs, conceded those 4 wickets. Tom Laws, for example, another think about whether getting himself run out, trying to get Jordan Clark back on strike. And it's such tiny margins. Those are the sorts of things that Surrey will be thinking about. But I also want to give a lot of praise to Sussex, because they are superbly led today by Ravi Bopara, the veteran, 39 years old. He bowled superbly. He marshalled his troops magnificently. They made the very best of the resources that they had. And that partnership, you know, it's the highest 5th wicket partnership for Sussex against Surrey in T20 history between Burgess and Allsop. So it took something special to beat Surrey today. But I think you're right. Surrey will be kicking themselves that they should have got over the line.
Sussex, they are a raw team. They did really, really well. But Surrey, on paper, you know, we should have got that. And maybe they won't be so pleased with that result at all.
Well, they won't, you know. They've rested Sean Abbott after he got that 100, which is a bold move, but they've got a deep squad, so they can afford to do that. And I think, you know, they'll still say that the team that they put out today should have won that game. They'll also look at a couple of umpiring decisions. I'm sure they will. Sam Curran and Tom Laws were both convinced that they'd got Tom Allsop out LBW. Umpire thought something different, maybe thought there was a little bit of bat involved. And also when they had Sussex at 57 for 4, they were on top. They didn't do an awful lot wrong in the field. You know, you can't really see them dropping catches particularly. It has come down to the back end of their own innings. It wasn't a bad pitch to bat on that. Getting 148 wasn't enough. And when they started the 19th over, they were 145 for 6, wasn't it? Tim Armills did bowl a beautiful over. Undoubtedly he did. But there was a bit of a brain fade at the back end of Surrey's innings, which they'll acknowledge. And they'll know that in tight scoring game, you know, if they'd only scored 15 in the last 2 overs instead of 3, they've won that game. But as I say, they also didn't quite get the rub of the green. So, look, it's far from a disaster. Surrey, you'd still say, favourites in this group to finish top. Sussex generally provide stiff opposition. They're usually a side that's competing, so they're not the worst side to lose against either. But, you know, as a Surrey fan, feeling a bit grisly. Yes. But like I say, fine margins. It's a great game, really great game, and hats off to Sussex.
Wow, it's great to have you with us, Daniel. Thank you so much for your lovely commentary along with Phil Walker. And thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world here on our broadcast for Surrey Cricket. Now, didn't go our way today, but they do play again on Wednesday against Hampshire. Make sure you are watching and supporting our team there. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here very soon.
We can get a coat on now, yeah?
Yes.